Internet, hello and welcome to OKLCS Spring 2018 Diamond Capped Quarterfinals. We are here for the first quarterfinal that we will be streaming. It is Apache Esports versus SNEK. These are the number 4 and number 5 seeded teams from Diamond Capped, and Apache the number 4 seed, and SNEK the number 5 seed. I'm Alex HNA22, joined by Riley Seegers, Funky Mama Seegers, here to cast this first quarterfinals of Diamond Cat, and it looks like we are already into Champion Select, so we'll go ahead and get in there. Apache's first ban away is the Varus, away from SNEK. Jin taken off the board by SNEK to make sure Apache does not get that champion. Champion is very strong right now, especially with the Guinsoo's Rageblade changes. Oddly enough, they banned away a champion that was made worse by Guinsoo's, and then a champion that was made better by Guinsoo's.
Yeah, definitely. Although, the Jin first pick is a little strange to me because, traditionally he doesn't do as well into tanks. So a way to counter him is to draw a very, frontline heavy composition, but deciding they just don't want to deal with that in any way, shape, or form.
Yep. Jax and Camille taken off the board. I expected that Camille to be a very contested pick. All 4 members on the top side of the map, Slappy, Jack, Aikido, and Sci-Fi, have all played Camille. So I'm not surprised that it's banned away, a very powerful first pick available for the side of Apache. And so SNEK don't want to let that go through. Alistair taken off the board, not letting PB Doughboy have a very strong engaged support. And then Swain was the last ban away. Slappy has been playing a lot of that Swain in recent weeks.
Well, and talking about kind of strong up in the top lane and lane dominance, Swain has become a very strong blind pick in the top lane.
For sure. Skarner is the first pickup for Apache. Aikido has tended towards it. It's a very comfortable thing for him. Zyra Khan, though, over onto the first side rotation for SNEK.
Really strong bottom lane will have a lot of pressure, especially level 1. There were some recent nerfs towards the deadly plumage, which mean they don't get quite as much bonus damage, but still a very potent lane.
Yeah, for sure. They still do a lot of damage. They still amplify each other's abilities. Their level 1 damage is a little bit down. Their overall damage a little bit down because of that deadly plumage change, but still very strong. And Cho'Gath taken up by the side of Apache, so that will be Slappy's pick in the top lane. Now, in general, Cho'Gath has been a very safe blind pick in the top lane, but with the advent of Conqueror into the top lane, that is something that can be countered now. Vel'Koz taken by Renji. This is one of his favorite champions as well. He really has tended towards those utility mages, and not had as much success on other things. Like in recent weeks, the Orianna has not been very effective for him. Galio picked up for the side of SNEK, more than likely going to Echoed Voice. He has played a lot of that champion in the split. Jack not shown to play it nearly as much, though it could be an option into the top lane. I doubt it, though.
Well, speaking of mid laners, though, we talked about Vel'Koz being kind of this artillery mage that does a fair amount of damage from, a relatively long range. But Vel'Koz will simply not be able to match with the roaming range offered by the Galio ultimate. So although he might have a bit more range advantage in lane, if Galio is going mid lane, kind of like we assume, potentially could have a lot more impact on the map.
And so this is what I kind of expected to happen in the second rotation of bans. SNEK has picked a support, whereas Apache have not, so they ban away... Well, okay, I say it. I thought they were going to ban 2 supports, and I expect, 2 jungle bans out from Apache, since they have picked their jungler, and SNEK has not.
Caitlyn, though, generally considered a very good pick into Syracon just because the 90 caliber net is fairly a simple tool to get out of the grand entrance of Mercon, and the range bonus, the 650 to 525, and the push potential coming from the Caitlyn is able to kind of shut down a lot of the engage from this lane.
But speak of engage, they just picked up Jarvan for... Well, that could be top or jungle. I expect it to be jungle because Jarvan top is not particularly strong. And that's a Cataclysm empowered by Echoed Voices Galio with the heroic entrance. Apache, they need to pick up some safety, so it will be the Ezreal picked up for General Vici, and now a support to be taken. What do we expect it to be? Could be Taric. Taric is something that Himana really likes to play. I've seen that he tends toward it when other options are not on the table,
I
such as
could
the Alistair.
I could see Thresh because of how it plays into the Rakan.
Okay,
And there
and
we go,
you're
Thresh.
right.
So
You're
with
totally
the
right.
with the Flay out of the grand entrance from the Rakan. Also, I've spoken with Hamana a few times, and he does somewhat consider himself to be a support that stemmed off from being a Thresh one trick at one point.
Hmm.
So he's been playing Thresh for a long time and feels very comfortable on this champion. And thinks that he can.
Ooh,
Ooh.
Darius. That would be sort of the expected lane counter to Cho'Gath. Um,
Definitely, yeah. Especially as you said with Conqueror, we'll be able to do a lot of true damage. Be able to continuously proc his Conqueror.
you match the
Uh,
true damage with true damage.
exactly.
Um, yeah, the Thresh. So the thing about Thresh is you can flay the Rakan, but there's a sort of a limited window in
Yeah,
which you can flay him and not get knocked up. If you flay him like after he reaches his destination but before the knockup, it'll still come through. If you have to flay him as
during
he's
the
moving,
cast.
yeah.
Yeah. Although for someone who is very comfortable in this champion, at this level of play, I do expect to see some very skilled mechanics coming out of Himana on this Thresh. And
I,
also with how immobile the Vel'Koz can be, the Lantern could potentially, the Dark
yeah.
Passage could be a very helpful escape tool
Not to
for this
mention,
incredibly heavy engage
yeah,
composition.
and not to mention, you've always got the possibility for the kidnapping from Aikudo Skarner
Yes,
with the Dark
yes,
Passage.
yes.
If he can, flash Impale onto Karamat, who is more than likely going to be the only viable target
Yeah.
for it, then he can pull him into the team, and Featherstorm can only get you out so far. Um, so
Uh,
that'll be interesting to see.
One thing I do want to look at though, so currently, we're on the spectator delay. It looks like Rakan has opted to not take a flash,
Yeah,
but is going for the double summoner with exhaust and ignite.
yeah, you take Exhaust Ignite for the early lane power, in particular when you go the Unsealed Spellbook.
Yeah,
So, that sort of signals to us that he's going to have Unsealed Spellbook, although he probably would have had it anyway.
yeah.
It is in like the majority of cases the ideal summoner to take on Rakan. It just gives you so much power to engage more often with Flash, which really makes Rakan that much more powerful.
Which is why I almost think that General Vici's pickup of Ezreal right here is, if he plays it right at the level 1, is able to get the arcane shift at level 2, is a very good denial to the aggression of this lane.
For
We
sure.
talked about the Thresh being able to flay out, but also with the arcane shift, being able to buffer that blink.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a very telegraphed knockout too. So you
yes,
have plenty of time to get out of it with the arcane shift.
we
If it's just onto you straight.
we could potentially see an early gank from the Jarvan, but like we talked about with how defensive this lane is, I'm not sure that Sci-Fi is going to want to really invest that much time into what will most likely just be wasted pressure.
Yeah, I expect that Sci-Fi will look towards the solo lanes. SNEK solo lanes, Darius and Galio have a lot of power to uh, gank assist with the
Yes,
apprehend, with the taunt, with the justice punch. And Cho'Gath and Vel'Koz, they're not champions that do very well against ganks. Um,
incredibly immobile.
yeah, for
Uh,
sure. Cho'Gath in particular, you can throw the Rupture out, but you're a very slow moving guy. The Darius is gonna slow you. He's gonna pull you in. Jarvan's gonna slow you with the shield. Catch you with a flag and drag. And in recent weeks, Apache, they've lost the last 3 weeks of OKLCS after such a strong start to the split. People were saying, Apache, they're such a great team. Uh, there was one person on the desk, he's not here today, who did anticipate that Apache would fall off as the split went on just due to strength of schedule.
yeah.
Um, and we can't really argue with him after you go 0 and 3 in the last 3 weeks. But
Yeah.
this is Apache's chance to show those that was not a fluke. They just sort of were in a slump the last 3 weeks. And come back into the split and make it to the court or make it to the semifinals.
So it looks like we're just about to wind down on the spectator delay as we get into the loading screen.
Yep. This
Uh,
is going to be game number 1 of the first Diamond Capped quarterfinal between Apache Esports and the SNEK. Number 4 seed versus number 5 seed. We won't know which of the semifinal opponents they will be up against until we know the results of the OU Wadu Hex series, which is also currently underway. We'll be streaming that in full on Sunday night.
So don't expect any spoilers on the stream.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so Himana has gone for Guardian as his keystone on Thresh. So, like you were saying, more defensive rather than the offensive power of Aftershock. But also, aside from the fact that Aftershock does the damage in the little area, it also gives you those bonus resistances. Yeah.
So potentially, I think we can take this as indication that he will not be trying to play this lane too aggressively. Potentially throwing a hook out every once in a while and, trying to have some pressure. But his ultimate focus will be making sure that General Vici stays safe, and that they can hopefully get to a more 5v5 type fight, which I believe Vel'Koz is much more suited to.
For sure. They do have a very strong team fight just by virtue of having that Vel'Koz on their team. If set up appropriately, Renji could turn a team fight by himself with a very good life form disintegration rate.
Definitely. And I would like one thing that I kind of
the ward will find them. He'll just take a plasma fission on his way out. Just some parting damage.
One thing I did kind of notice though is Rakan spends a lot of his 5v5 team fights having to try and dive into the enemy team and get those knockups. However, unlike an Alistar, he is notoriously not very tanky. Cho'Gath, despite being incredibly tanky with his ult, will be doing a fair amount of damage, will be doing a large burst of true damage, and could potentially just delete PB Doughboy as the game goes on.
Just like neutralizing that form of engage for SNEK. You're
and
totally
turning
right.
the fight into a 5v4 to be followed up from the damage from Renji, from the damage from Vici. So I'm excited to see how this goes. They do have a very engage heavy composition on SNEK, but I feel like the onus on them is to kind of keep up the pressure.
Yeah. So it looks like actually both junglers starting on their red buff, Sci-Fi being leashed onto that by Jackalove's Lamp in the top side of the jungle. They will know that he started up there because Karamat and PB Doughboy are early shoving this lane, and Jarvan is not a very good jungler for starting without a leash.
Yeah. Especially with the, couple patches ago, or quite a few patches ago, there were the nerfs to his HP, the nerfs to his early armor.
Yeah, the armor.
So
Collapse and Fissions landing from Renji. Echoed Voice is taking a little bit of punishment, although it is Galio. Galio, even when you build him, the more AP heavy builds that we've seen recently, is still fairly tanky just naturally.
Especially into the AP matchups. So everything just kind of farming. General Vici has landed a large amount of his Mystic shots, which are doubly important on the Kleptomancy Ezreal because he'll be getting the additional gold and the looted items.
Yeah, Kleptomancy is so weird, the way it's been used anyways.
Yeah.
You get all these cool items from it, right? But basically it's only ever used to like sell those items to accelerate your gold. Just kind of sad in my opinion. Just like, oh man, I'm not actually making use of how cool this keystone is.
I will say one of the things that I like most about Kleptomancy on this Ezreal is a lot of times if you're trying to get a lot of poke with your Q, especially early before you get your tier, you can run into mana problems. And so if he's able to loot, say, a mana potion, or what is it? Travel size essence of sorcery, potentially able to get more of that sustain, allowing him to stay in lane for longer, and hopefully reach that point where he can back and get tier and Sheen on the
Sci-Fi has found Aikudo, and actually he's on the lesser end of this trade. He's gonna have to flag and drag over to safety. Renji going aggressive on Echoed Voice. The Justice Punch comes out. The taunt will not land. Echoed Voice will just take half of the Void Rip for his troubles, but he will take the entirety of that the passive from the Vel'Koz. What is that called? I don't even remember.
Can't say I do either.
It's like, it's called Organic Deconstruction. I totally knew that just off the top of my head. Did not mouse over that in any way.
That is whatever does the true damage,
Yes.
correct? Yes.
Every time you land 3 abilities, or yeah, 3 abilities, you get that organic deconstruction, which is true damage that scales off of both level and ability power.
Which is one of the reasons that his late game can be so destructive to enemy teams, especially ones that will be relatively tanky, with the Darius going the Bruiser build most likely, and the full damage Jarvan, and the just kind of naturally tanky Galio. With the true damage coming out, we'll be able to thread through that team if he's able to get a very good ultimate.
So neither jungler has really made to look, or made to do anything. Sorry, looked to do anything. I'm just like losing all my words. No ganks have happened. Not even any real skirmishing. Echoed Voice has just been taking some punishment from Renji just due to the range disadvantage, but goes back, buys a tier, teleports back to lane. Oh, there's a good death sentence, but the Grand Entrance will neutralize General Vici.
Yeah, no, just kind of, as we're saying.
Aikido is here without his mid laner. His mid laner just took a recall, and so they're going to jump onto him as Jack is fighting onto Slappy on the top side. Apprehends him back in. He's going to get the 5th stack off, but he doesn't have the level 6, so no Noxian Guillotine available.
Yeah, just kind of some general fighting across the map. SNEK using their pressure advantages that they should have with the engage from the Jarvan and the pressure from the Darius. However, at this point, Apache doing well to fight off the earth pressure, looking at scale.
Yeah, and actually, if you look at everything, Apache has 500 gold in the lead, even without having anything happen. And that really, where is that coming from? Is that like all coming from Kleptomancy?
It's mostly, well, there are generally a few, there's a little bit of a CS lead in the top lane, a little bit of a CS lead in the bot lane, but it is a lot of this Kleptomancy. You know, I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 at least of those Sly Sacks of gold in Ezreal's inventory at some point in the game, giving various amounts of gold between, I believe it's 40 and 110 each time those are popped, and then every time landing ability, getting the additional 5 gold. So yeah.
So, ooh, a little bit of a stutter there.
Yeah.
Oh, good root or a blade caller from Karamat. Roots up General Vici, takes him down to 50%, but neither of the ADCs have recalled yet.
Yeah, right now though, despite having pressure in the lane because they've been pushing so hard, General Vici is 10 CS up at this point. You know, kind of compounding like we were talking about, the gold advantage that he'll be getting from this Kleptomancy, and depending on the build, he should spike sooner, just kind of in general, if he goes the blue Ezreal build with Iceborne Gauntlet. It's a bit more cost effective, doesn't scale quite as hard as Triforce.
And Renji is really pressuring Echoed Voice in this lane. He's burned his teleport, is continuously just shoving him under tower, not giving him the opportunity to go for any plays with the heroic entrance.
Yeah.
Justice Punch really just being used to clear the wave.
Is one of the best ways to counter the Galio pressure though, is just to make sure that he
Oh, here we go. Here's a gank coming in, level 6 hit. There's the Flash Impale used. Is going to get a death sentence in, and PB Doughboy will go down for first blood. Karamat trying to put some damage back, but the Featherstorm was already used. Is going to just root collar or blade collar onto 2 members of Apache, but nicely well played gank by the jungle in support of Apache. They're looking to try and, well, no, Sci-Fi's not here. Actually, I thought they were going for a play there, but Sci-Fi was in the base.
It looked like Aikido kind of got in the head of PB Doughboy, or of Karamat right there, because as you saw, as soon as he saw kind of that flash animation, Karamat popped the ultimate. However, Aikido, maybe kind of sniffing that one out, decided to flash onto PB Doughboy instead, who doesn't have that invulnerability, and ended up getting the kill in support. So very well played right there.
Just a you know, a very just as viable a target is the Rakan. He's got no real tank stats under his belt, and won't for a very long while.
And because they hadn't backed, he should have still had the Ignite and Exhaust at that point. He has switched the Ignite for Flash at this point, so they knew he was flashless.
That is a very good point as well.
So being very intelligent right now.
Jack apprehends in on Slappy. He has the Glacial Shroud, so is a little bit safer, but does still have to worry about the Conqueror coming through and the true damage from Noxian Guillotine.
However, despite Poke coming out from this in the top lane, kind of just trading back and forth, both of these top laners do have a fair amount of sustain, what with the passive of Cho'Gath's passive, and when he hits the blade on, is it Decimate?
Yeah.
In, out of Darius.
It's very slight, but I mean, they are there, but very slight CS leads across the board in favor of APCH. SNEK really feeling the pressure.
Yeah, there was a large wave bot.
Ooh, and there's some miscommunication. Double control wards on the dragon. SNEK is starting it up, but this is... Oh, there's the recombo being used, but he doesn't find anybody. The Death Sentence lands. Echoed Voice channeling the taunt. The Sci-Fi goes in. Cataclysm comes down, but he will be going down. And here's the heroic entrance. Sci-Fi flashes into the brush, and he will go down to the last auto attack from General Vici. Now Echoed Voice on the wrong side, slowed up by the Plasma Fission. A Death Sentence going to be dodged by the Justice Punch. Nicely done. A teleport was used by Slappy to join the fight, and Echoed Voice will make it out. APCH pick up 1 kill and will get the Ocean Drake as well.
Looks like a little bit of discommunication that we know. Sci-Fi did very well going in, hitting the flag and drag, and then comboing into the ultimate. However, he really didn't have anyone to back him up and was just forced to kind of sit there and take that damage from General Vici as Himana was playing a little bit of peel right there.
Yeah, and this is a pure Cinderhulk Jarvan. If you don't have follow-up for him, he will not 100-0 out General Vici or Himana. Jack did not get his teleport off, or maybe he used it into the top lane, but Slappy, in any case, was able to teleport down, turn it into a 5v4 that SNEK was already losing. And now they get pressure in the mid lane. APCH with Renji and Aikado looking to pressure for Tower First Blood in the mid.
Echoed Voice, it looked like, did try and do what he can, and the follow-up, you know, got the ultimate, but at that point he was already so low, the damage reduction was essentially useless. So overall, well played from APCH right there, but potentially could have been played a little bit better on SNEK's side as well.
Echoed Voice 20 CS down because of all the pressure he's received in the mid lane. Going for a tier into a Negatron cloak item.
Most likely, I would assume that
Abyssal Mask.
Abyssal Mask, because of the AP damage that will be coming, or this magic damage coming out of the Vel'Koz, but then also Cho'Gath does a fair amount of of magic damage, and even Ezreal with his True Shot Barrage will be doing some magic damage.
Although I don't know, I kind of question it. I think honestly, I think his team needs the damage if he were to go for something like a Rod of Ages instead. Because the Abyssal Mask is not going to be very effective, and now he's going to get the taunt, but he will... Oh! Flashes away! Renji cannot get the auto attack off for the execute, but Aikado's here will push Sci-Fi away. Barely escaped from Echoed Voice there, thanks to the help of Sci-Fi.
Good guy jungler coming in for the clutch save right there. Renji did flash, like you said, so...
Trying to get that last auto attack off.
That is potentially something that they can look for to punish within the next 5 minutes, because a blown flash is a blown flash.
Death Sentence finds Karamat! There's the General Vici getting knocked up. The Dark Passage will be used to get him out to safety, and SNEK will back away as well. The True Shot Barrage coming out, dodged away, will not actually hit anything as a result.
Gardner heading down bot, but looks like he's not going to do that. They're pushed too far under tower. He's just going to clear his jungle and you know, maybe look somewhere else on the map or head back. But one thing I noticed right there, PB Doughboy did very good despite Himana landing the good Death Sentence. The knockup on the Ezreal, or at least the fact that made him Arcane Shift out, meant that he could not put damage on onto Karamat, meaning that he still is relatively healthy and they can keep farming this lane.
And that's generally what you need to do as a support. If your ADC gets caught by the enemy support CC, you need to pressure the enemy ADC though, so they can't put damage down during that time.
Yeah.
And now they're rotating 4 members of APCH into the mid lane. Getting ready to pressure there. Karamat and PB Doughboy are on their way up. Just continuing to push in on Slappy, gonna apprehend him in. Although he is pretty low, Decimate comes through, gets the heal off. Slappy is standing his ground. There's the Noxian Rage, gets a Decimate off. Noxian Guillotine and the auto attack. Jack solos out Slappy.
Yeah, Slappy only had the Righteous Glory, which doesn't do as much damage reduction as some other items could because of the unique active that it offers. However, Darius already had a Black Cleaver, what with the Conqueror doing true damage on his abilities, especially with the Hemorrhage, all of that DOT being converted into 20% true damage. and the black cleaver damage reduction or armor penetration
Yeah,
as
but
well.
that's just sheer disrespect. Slappy walks back, holds his ground, and then walks back in as the Noxian Rage is already there. Knockup misses thanks to the arcane shift from General Vici. Stands there, continues to trade on with Jack Love's Lamb, doesn't even flash in after the Noxian Rage is popped.
And he had all 5
Ooh,
stacks
Death
as well.
goes
Very
wide.
good dodge. But like we were saying, there were 5 stacks onto Slappy, which means his abilities were going to be doing more damage. And the Noxian Guillotine, I think, just did a bit more damage than he was expecting.
Although, you know, you think you might expect that.
Yeah.
It's a Darius.
It is,
With
yeah.
a full Black Cleaver now. Echoed Voice trying to stop them from pressuring onto the tower. He's going to miss the Tectonic Disruption. Justice Punch will find Aikado, but he doesn't find the Impale. Sci-Fi hanging around.
Looking to protect this tower. Unfortunately, though, they kind of have pressure all over the map with this Ezreal pushing in. And both top laners had backed, returning to the lane. Will sort of out up there. I do want to give some very, strong appreciation towards Slappy, despite being in a very disadvantageous matchup. He is only 3 CS, 4 CS now, down in the top lane, so is staying relatively relevant,
Yeah.
which he'll need to do if he wants to look to hopefully scale into the late game.
I really do think that Sci-Fi could gank a little bit more than he is currently. Even if, there is a lot of vision set up around that mid lane by APCH, and that's very smart in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because it is Renji's Vel'Koz, Renji has been receiving a lot of the pressure from junglers in the last few weeks. Additionally, on such an immobile champion with such good gank assistance from SNEK's mid lane, it's very good that they established that vision, but Sci-Fi, take the time to come in, clear out that vision. Maybe you'll have another gank here. They're gonna go in now. Cataclysm from Renji, and he has no flash. The Rakumbo comes through. The heroic engines will knock him up. A taunt comes through, and the Justice Punch. Echoed Voice picks up a kill. Nothing at all that Renji could do there.
That was about 12 seconds of CC. What with the ultimate coming in from the Cataclysm coming in from the Jarvan into the Grand Entrance from PB Doughboy, and the ultimate coming in from PB Doughboy, as well as the ultimate from Galio into the Justice Punch.
Yeah, there was
into
like
the
actually
taunt.
nothing Renji could do there.
Yeah.
But that's what you should be doing.
Yes.
That's what, if Sci-Fi had been doing that so much more, this might be going a different way. A Death Sentence will land, Ignite used on Echoed Voice, but here's a teleport coming in from Jack. APCH, they're all very scared of him. Rupture comes through, they impale onto Jack. He's gonna look for the Decimate. A taunt comes through from Echoed Voice. There's a big bit of Winds of War. Aikado falls down. Stop me. Righteous Glorious. It doesn't give you movement speed running away. But PB Doughboy looking for a knockout is gonna find it on Slappy, and the Winds of War comes through, and PB Doughboy will get it with an auto attack. 3 kills to SNEK.
Yeah, Slappy just got slapped right there a little bit. This team on SNEK, they have drafted to be engaged and have large areas of...
Oh, PB Doughboy goes down to the Life Force Disintegration Ray. SNEK picks up the Ocean Dragon. General Vici has no way to get out of there, but Karamat's taking so much damage. There's the Feather Storm being used. A taunt comes through, and General Vici will fall as well. Echo and Jack is in the backline. He teleported onto Renji, pulls him in, even through the Tectonic Disruption. Gonna get another Decimate off. Noxian Guillotine not available. Summoner Heal comes out from Renji to get out.
Yeah, over there, it just seems like General Vici and Renji were trying to get something back, trying to steal the Ocean Drake. Unfortunately, not able, but they were able to get the 1v1 trade. However, trading your support for your AD, traditionally not the best trade, but they did what they could given the situation. Very nearly got the dragon, but unfortunately were unable to secure that because of the smite from the jungle.
Yeah, Himana is here. That's a very... Echoed Voice is very low right now. About half HP. Lifeform Disintegration Ray not available, but Himana is continuing the pressure. Flash, Flag, and Dragon. The flame misses, but Sci-Fi has no damage. He can't get onto Renji. Death Sentence lands after the Dark Passage. Winds of War comes out, and they will force them off of Slappy. Or Sci-Fi, rather.
That was an incredibly aggressive flash ultimate right there. Luckily, I don't think APCH was expecting it because not as much damage put down as they could have. But a very aggressive there from Sci-Fi, which is markedly different from what they were saying at the beginning. But I will say this is kind of the mindset that they need to have if they're going to be pulling off this Galio, J4, Darius composition with all of this zone of control.
PB Doughboy's just trying to get the execute. True Shot Barrage tags him, and he will be giving over a kill. Renji's gonna pick it up there with an auto attack.
Yeah, unfortunate there. It looked like he might be going in to try and
Jack
get
can
some
get the
wards.
apprehend on the Slappy, gonna get the decimate off. He's not doing too much damage yet, but that Black Cleaver is fully stacked onto Slappy now. Conqueror available. Slappy does have to be careful of taking those extended trades.
Well, and he's sitting at 2-0 and 2, building up, you know, quite a bit of magic resist, what with Spectre's Cowl and the Mercury Treads as well. So, despite him being rather tanky, as, you know, we've talked about with Conqueror ticking down, this is not a fight he was going to want to stay in for very long.
You have to worry, though. Apache are continuing to have pressure in 2 out of 3 lanes. That mid lane tower is very low with how much Renji has been shoving in. And Tower First Blood still on the table. Apache have the chance to accelerate the very slight gold lead they have now. But Jack coming up behind Slappy is going to find the slow. Decimate comes through. Is just stacking that bleed, looking for the Conqueror. Rupture comes out, but it doesn't land. He apprehends him back in, but he doesn't have enough damage to get the Noxie and Guillotine range in. And they will just trade evenly there.
Actually, very well played from Slappy right there, only going about, you know, losing the same percentage of their
Tower First Blood is on the table. The Flag and Drag comes through. They find General Vici. The combo comes out. General Vici has nowhere to go. Tower First Blood does go over to Apache, but they lose 3 members. Now Jack looking for the solo kill on his Slappy. Rusher comes out, but it's a feast, and it's Slappy turning it around.
Very well played from Slappy in the top lane, getting at least something back from the...
Whoa!
Oh!
What is this? SNEK going for the 20-minute Baron. They killed 3 members of Apache, and Slappy has no feast.
And if we look, this Xayah is 2-0-5. What with her...
Oh, and they found Aikado! He has to flash out. Means he cannot flash into the back of the pit. But SNEK, they can no longer go for this. Featherstorm used to avoid Baron executing him.
Despite the flash, like we were talking about, having to be invested there from this Aikado to get out of that pick, they were able to pull, you know, Aikado was able to pull SNEK off of the Baron. So very well done right there from Aikado.
Yeah. I honestly, though, there was a very large misplay on the side of SNEK as Echoed Voice secures a tower to even it up. Gold dead even right now. Himana looking for a Death Sense on Echoed Voice. There's no tower to protect him.
We kind of got distracted, but I would like to go back to the 1v1 between Jack Loves Lamp and Slappy in the top lane. I'm just kind of curious as to how that happened. You know, we were kind of jumping back and forth between the mid lane and the top lane, but Slappy was able to get the 1v1 kill off on this, what should have been a very fed Darius. So what do you think Jack needs to do in the future to ensure that doesn't happen again?
You know, I'm not sure. He was depending very heavily on his auto attacks, empowered by Conqueror and the Noxian Rage. Apprehend pulls in General Vici, will take a tower shot, Dark Passage thrown at just to ensure he gets out. He was depending very heavily on his auto attacks for the majority of his damage.
He was fighting a lot in a minion wave as well, taking a bit more damage potentially than needed to.
So, you know, during a fight itself, Slappy doesn't actually have a whole lot of sustain. So I think if Jack had played it a little bit, you know, more patiently, use the Decimate a little bit more. Oh, there's the recombo used on the Himana. He got Tower Dagger with the Death Sense. They get in, and there's onto General Vici. Heroic entrance finds 2. Taunt gonna be only finding Aikado. Justice Punch knocks him out, but a Death Sense lands on Echoed Voice. He flashes out. Flag and Drag. No, he's suppressed by the Impaled Flash. Apprehend. They find 2. The knockup interrupted. Life Force Disintegration Ray melts through SNEK. Jack is trying to do it, but he cannot. Noxie and Guillotine is interrupted by his death. It's a 3-for-1 in favor of Apache.
I saw what Sci-Fi wanted to do there. He wanted to get them all locked down so they were able to get the AoE damage they had, but they just simply didn't take into perspective that Apache was doing more AoE damage than they were. What with the Lifeform Disintegration and the True Shot Barrage, they simply melted through Jack Loves Lamp and Sci-Fi on the side of SNEK, doing a very decisively won fight from Apache.
And now they're looking for the Baron. They're not taking it super quickly, and they are going very low. They're going to try and contest it on the side of SNEK, but here comes Slappy to tank it up. Echoed Voice walks in without fear. There's 3 very low members. Flash Featherstorm! Reggie goes down! Now, but he has no flash. He has no ultimate. Karamat feasted and focused down! They take him down. Echoed Voice now on the run, slowed up by the Righteous Glory, but here comes Jack with the teleport. Justice Punch comes through. Echoed Voice will fall. Death Sense goes wide, but now General Vici will be going down. The knockout doesn't land from BB Dopo, but it will land from Slappy. Slowed up by the exhaust. Flash Flag and Drag comes through. Slappy flashes, looks at the last gun, but he's denied. Apprehend pulls him back in. He will stopwatch. Will he make it out to the Dark Passage? No, because he's knocked up, and it will be Slappy going down to the Decimate from Jack Loves Lamp.
And even if he hadn't been knocked up and was looking to grab that dark passage. As you saw, they put 3 different wards down. This is a very clever trick to try and deny the dark passage. If you put a ward almost directly on top of the dark passage, they won't be able to click the lantern and travel to safety. So kind of an overstay from Apache. I feel like they should not have tried to stay and take the Baron. It was simply taking too long, and death timers are not that long at this point in time. And a very good punish coming in from SNEK right there. Getting the Infernal Drake as well, augmenting their damage, which almost everyone on this team, with the exception of Sci-Fi, will very much appreciate as the game goes on.
For sure. And Apache, I think maybe they could, again, patience is a very important thing in League of Legends. If Jack had been a little bit more... Oh, speaking of Jack is going to get caught by the Impale, surrounded by 4 members of Apache. The heroic entrance comes through. He gets a big heal! Life Point disintegration rate! Jack will finally fall down. The combo finds 3. Justice Punch out to safety. Karamat, now he knows there's nothing he can do for Echoed Voice, and he will just go down. They actually found PB Doughboy in the back side. It's now 3 members off the table for SNEK, and Apache turn back onto the Baron.
This is just one fight after one fight, just simply alternating teams going back, dancing around the Baron. At this point, it's looking like Apache Feast is on cooldown, so potentially Sci-Fi has the chance to steal, but
Slappy trying to keep him out, but that's a Tectonic just finds Karamat. Karamat's trying to do damage, but he's almost dodged by catches the death sentence. Himana comes through, flays him backwards. Sci-Fi gets in there. His silence is secured by Apache, and Sci-Fi will go down. Very close on that death sentence for Himana.
Here comes Righteous Glory.
Coming. Righteous Glory doesn't find the slow. He flashes for the slow though, and there's the stun, and Karamat will fall to General Vici's Mystic Shot. That's the delayed ace for Apache. Baron on all 5 members, and SNEK now are in a very rough position.
Yeah, after that kind of chain of events, getting a whole bunch of kills, taking them up to a 2-kill advantage, they are sitting with about a 5,000 gold advantage as well. They have not been able to back and really utilize this, but they're trying to use the pressure from the Baron buff to break the base at 26 minutes.
Yeah, and I think at that point where they were at, they should have just let Jack die. They should not have invested heroic entrance and the recombo in to try and save him, because that ended up with 2 more members dying. And Apache get the Baron off of it. They get an inhibitor. They're going to back out safely. PB Doughboy perhaps looking for an engage, but cannot find one. And Apache will pick up 2 towers and an inhibitor.
Yeah, and Jack Loves Lamp potentially was just simply not where he should have been with these champions that do kind of have this run at you mentality. With the Predator and the Righteous Glory on both of them, they're moving very quickly. Darius is a very strong 1v1 fighter, but he does not have any escapes of his own, so was not able to outrun the collapse that was put on him, and with the Impale coming in from the Skarner, was simply dragged back into the rest of the team. So very well played there from Apache, but Jack Loves Lamp potentially needs to pay attention a little bit more to his positioning as this game goes on, because it's not out of the woods. The end is not yet decided. I could see both of these teams either pushing their lead or coming back, especially with the engage tools on the side of SNEK, but they're pushing into the bot lane, trying to push their lead with this Baron buff.
Aikado clearing out, just denying as much vision as possible to SNEK. SNEK cannot rotate through their jungle anymore. 5 members of Apache hanging out on this bottom side. They're trying to pick up all of the remaining towers outside of SNEK's base, and they will get this one no problem.
Pushing it up to a 7,000 gold.
Control hordes dropped galore for Apache. Jack is going to take some punishment from the Plasma Fission. SNEK there trying to defend here. Death Sentence goes wide. Now, who will be the engage tool that SNEK needs to start this off? It will be Sci-Fi! He goes in with the Cataclysm! Flash away from Renji, absorbs the heroic entrance. They Justice Punch out. PB Doughboy does not find the recombo onto anybody. And that will be SNEK investing much of their engage and not finding any kills.
They did get the flash out of Renji. So potential on that. However, they just simply don't have the engage anymore to really be able to stop this push.
Oh, Death Sentence finds Jack! And that's going to be Slappy picking up the killing spree with the beast. The Karamat caught as well. He will go down a double kill to Slappy. Life Force Disintegration Ray coming out, and it will be APCH taking down 2, taking down a second inhibitor. Not the second inhibitor, they're just taking the base. The first Nexus Tower is down, and SNEK, nothing they can do to melt through Slappy. The second Nexus Tower is gone, and it will be a flash shot from Echo Voice, but they merely don't have the damage. Renji's on a killing spree. A Death Sentence finds PB Doughboy, and it will be an ace for APCH as they focus on the Nexus and take game number 1 over SNEK.
Very good pick coming out of the Thresh right now. For those of you who don't know, Himana is actually a Smurf for Hakuho. So we have Hakuho actually in this game. So very well played. Getting the pick on the Thresh, allowing them to push that fight even farther, and eventually ending with the Nexus. Very well played on that Baron buff.
Yeah, it was a very close back and forth game for a while, but just a little bit of one misposition by Jack ends up with the rest of his team funneling in to die to him, and APCH just rolled with that. Really well played by APCH to take game number 1. We're going to take a short break before we go into Champions League for game number 2. We'll get into that as soon as possible. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you in a few minutes. Internet, hello and welcome back to OKLCS Spring 2018 Diamond Capped Quarterfinals. We just saw the first game of APCH versus SNEK. It was very close for quite a while, and then all of a sudden, APCH just rolled with one mistake by SNEK and just took over the game. We are already in Champion Select for game number 2, in which SNEK had the side selection. They opted for the blue side this game.
First ban Xerath, potentially wanting to keep Renji off of those artillery mages that he was very effective with last game on the Vel'Koz. So if they're going to continue this pattern, I assume the Vel'Koz will probably be the second ban.
Yeah, another Varus ban away by Apache. They just don't want to let Karamat have that. I mean, which is fair. Karamat is a very strong ADC. Vel'Koz banned
Vel'Koz.
away. So now they have changed their ban strategy. They are very heavily targeting onto Renji. Jack's taken away. That is something Sci-Fi played quite a bit during this split for SNEK in the jungle. Not something that Jack himself has played, though.
Looking like they're keeping their bans relatively similar to the bans they had last game, whereas
Okay.
SNEK is deciding to change it up and attack what they felt was kind of unsustainable from their last game.
Oh, and this time the Swain is taken away by Apache. Both Slappy and Jack have played the Swain, so a first pick option very available. So it will be Zach picked up for SNEK for Sci-Fi in the jungle, something that was banned away last game.
And Zach is a champion that really won't succeed as well if he does not try and get those ganks using his long range. So hopefully we'll try and see Sci-Fi be a bit more aggressive on this champion as opposed to his more passive style that he played last game.
Yeah, and I mean, but this is the game where you would expect... Okay, first off, it's very dangerous to blind pick the Zac. Sejuani is something that does very well against Zac just because you can use the Arctic Assault very easily to interrupt a last 16 shot. Not to mention the plethora of supports that Himana can play at this time that will stop the Zac in. He really... he has played a lot of Alistar this split. Yeah. He hasn't played much Janna that I know of, but it is an option. And Xayah is taken up by General Vici, so now it's even harder for Sci-Fi to really get into there and pick up a squishy.
Potentially daring PB Doughboy to pick up the Rakan again. Generally considered not as strong by himself. However, he did just recently pick up some buffs on his AP scaling and also on the range for his Battle Dance, getting the shields a longer range. I think it's 400 units now as opposed to 300.
Yeah, it's 100 units more when it's not a Xayah. But it's instead the Morgana picked up. Now, that could be going to either Echoed Voice or PB Doughboy. Echoed Voice is one of the few players in the OKLCS who still plays mid lane Morgana.
Mid lane Morgana does have some fantastic wave clear. So if he's looking to try and not be pushed under a tower like he was very much of last game, Morgana could be a strong choice. However, we'll just have to see. Morgana with the shield, if he's quick, could be very good into this Alistar Xayah lane.
And this is what we were saying, what we were expecting. The Alistar picked up for Himana. Not only is that a very dangerous lane for SNEK to play in the bottom lane against Xayah Alistar for Apache, but it is something that also will potentially stop Sci-Fi from getting in with the Xayah, or with the Zac, rather.
So a ban on the Taliyah?
Yeah, that is very curious to me. Taliyah is one of Echoed Voice's big history champions. He's played that a lot in the course of the OKLCS. But with the Morgana locked in, I don't think there's really much point in banning the mid lane because that is something that Echoed Voice is very comfortable on. It's very easily flexed into the mid lane.
I think they're just simply saying that we don't think you're taking this Morgana into the mid lane. We think this Morgana is to be a counter to our Alistar.
But they picked the Morgana before they picked Alistar.
Potentially they just kind of saw what they were going to try and do in the lane. We'll just have to kind of see how it goes. They did, however, ban another support.
Okay, so that's one ban either side. They're saying, okay, we'll just pinch it no matter where the Morgana goes, I guess. Veigar was taken off the board by SNEK, really pinching onto Renji's champion pool. What he has played that we've seen him play Orianna, we've seen him play Azir, which are both options that are still on the table. Azir in particular would be quite effective if he's fast enough on his fingers to stop Sci-Fi from getting in.
However, this Morgana could do a lot to enable the Zac, because if I'm correct, the Black Shield on the Zac, which is coming in with the Elastic Slingshot, will not be able to be stopped with the Arctic Assault or the Headbutt coming in from Alistar. So potentially a way to protect the Zac and let him get into the backline.
All right, so Victor is the choice for Renji in the mid lane, matching up most likely against Echoed Voice's Morgana. Um, Now that's kind of interesting. I think actually basically all the time Morgana is going to be able to outpush his Renji's Victor.
Uh-huh.
Just because of how powerful Tormented Soil is. The Thresh is picked up for PB
But
Doughboy.
is Morgana in the mid lane?
Yeah. So, so yeah, it is going to be Morgana in the mid lane for Echoed Voice. Thresh picked up for PB Doughboy. He's going to be taking his hand at it after Himana had such a great game on it last game. And now they have to pick the top lane for Jack Blind. Slappy will get to pick something against it. It's very dangerous to pick a tank, so it will be the Darius yet again for
Okay.
Jack. Now, what will be the counter pick? Gnar is on the table. Gnar sort of seen as a soft counter to Darius, and Slappy does play it.
Um, so kind of just waiting. They're looking at their options, wondering if maybe he wants to get put back on that Cho'Gath. Ended up
It did do fairly well. After the one solo kill, he ended up being very impactful in the game and was even able to turn it back around. And you're
there it
totally
is.
right. It is another Cho'Gath.
Um, So we'll just kind of have to see how this goes. Hopefully, I'm hoping that Jack does put a bit more pressure onto the Cho'Gath, because he actually left the lane with more CS than the Darius did. Potentially, he was just trying to push, lost some minions here and there. So hopefully, he'll be able to play that a little bit stronger and come out with a much more decisive CS lead, and potentially some kills as well. However, I am looking down the bot lane. Thresh, if he's quick enough, should be able to play Alistar out of his headbutt, disrupting the combo. Um, so yeah, we'll just kind of have to see how that plays out, whether Alistar can get a clean engage, or if PB Doughboy will be able to get the interrupt there.
I have a lot of concerns though for SNEK's composition in particular. Um, Xayah is the big pick here for Apache. Is going to be able to dodge a lot of what SNEK has to offer, dodge a lot of the dive power of Sci-Fi Zac, the apprehend from Jax Darius if they don't layer those appropriately.
Definitely. However, Xayah does only have one Featherstorm, whereas there are a lot of pick tools on the side of SNEK. So if they're able to layer those options, hopefully they'll be able to get General Vici with one. However, General Vici, on the other hand, hopefully will be able to watch his positioning enough to where he won't ever be caught in those situations, and the rest of his team should provide enough peel, especially with the Alistar and the Sejuani, to keep all of these tools of engage off of General Vici.
And that's sort of the big thing too. General Vici, after watching this he's a newcomer to Diamond Cap this split, coming up from Platinum Cap last split. Uh, he has probably some of the better, if not the best positioning amongst ADCs in Diamond Cap. Very rarely do you see him get caught unless you invest a lot of resources on the opposite side. And giving him Xayah just to cover up any potential weaknesses he might have is very dangerous for any team to do. Additionally, it's a lot of team fight damage with the feathers. You just throw them through people, potentially hit multiple members of
Exactly.
SNEK.
So we are going into the second game. Apache did win the first game at about 27 minutes, 28 minutes, I believe. So it is 1-0 right now, favoring Apache. SNEK are looking to tie it up.
Yeah, Apache put themselves one game away from heading into the semifinals. SNEK looking to even up the series. And what we're hoping for on the side of SNEK is to see if Sci-Fi can be a little bit more aggressive on these lanes. Um, if
Sci-
you Yeah, go ahead.
well, last game, Sci-Fi did have some very impactful play on the Jarvan after about 15 minutes or so, but it just seemed like it was a little bit of too little, too late. Was not able to push the advantage that they were trying
Yeah,
to
and I mean,
before that
15
point.
minutes. It's a Jarvan. You should be ganking significantly before that. Especially onto the very gankable lanes that Apache did have in the form of Vel'Koz and Cho'Gath. really didn't make very good use of that pick. On this game, geez Louise, Sci-Fi is playing Zac, which has significantly less gank pressure in favor of more scaling, and just the sheer amount of engage power he has as the game goes on. Really looking to get more ranks into the Elastic Slingshot before he can really do a whole lot of anything.
However, a lot of last game, his kind of inability was attributed to Aikido's good positioning. If you remember the little 1v1 level 4, where Aikido almost got the solo kill onto Sci-Fi, um, and just kind of after that point, Aikido was either proceeding or at the same time kind of following the Jarvan around, making it so that he was not able to do as much as he potentially wanted to.
So we are finally done with the spectator delay. We're going to get into the loading screen of game number 2 between SNEK and APCH.
So
Again, this is the number 4 seed APCH facing off against the number 5 seed in the form of SNEK.
we do have Mukau Alistar in the bot lane over here for Himana though, so we will have to see if he's able to champion that cowbell to victory.
Sure. Now, the other big thing to look at, the big abilities, in my opinion, to look at in this game are General Vici's Featherstorm and Echoed Voice's Black Shield. The Black Shield is going to be very important, put onto either Jackalove's Lamp or Karamat in order to protect them from one of these large CC abilities, such as the Glacial Prison from Aikado.
Or potentially onto Sci-Fi to just facilitate his ability to get into the
That is very true,
backline.
Put the Black Shield onto Sci-Fi, all of a sudden you can't interrupt his Elastic Slingshot with the Arctic Assault or with the Headbutt from Himana's Alistar. The Pulverize. Those abilities are just so... Oh man, it is the signature SNEK level 1 invade. They are actually spotted out by Slappy, unfortunately, so that will be foiled before it can start.
Very good attempt though. They are trying to be much more aggressive, it would appear, in this game, potentially using that to propel them into a victory, tying up the series 1-1.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I don't know if you know, but every game that SNEK plays in the OKLCS, they have invaded level 1. Maybe Doughboy look for Detsons. Almost catches Renji, trying to predict the juke.
It almost looked like he almost juked into it as well. So some mind games level 1. We'll see if that continues.
But good vision dropped into the red side jungle, matched by SNEK and matched by APCH in the bottom side. In this game, both junglers starting on the same side of the map, both on the bottom side, leashed by their duo lanes.
One thing I would like to point out about the Black Shield, though, is unlike a support Morgana, who normally will max Black Shield second after the Dark Binding, I would not expect Echoed Voice to max his Dark Shield second, but third. First should be the Tormented Soil for wave clear, then the Dark Binding, followed by the Shield. So although he will have more AP, which will lead to a larger shield than a support Morgana, will not have the base stats that would come out potentially from a Morgana in the bot lane.
Yeah, and that is kind of a weird thing about Morgana, isn't it? Because in the mid lane in particular, because you kind of want everything. Yes. You want a bigger Black Shield, you want more duration from your Dark Binding, but you also want the wave clear from Tormented Soil. It's kind of... And it sucks. I want everything. I can't have everything.
Unfortunately, we cannot have everything, and he will have to decide how he wants to play this. And I would imagine he would be willing to mix up his build if it becomes more advantageous to max the shield second, but I definitely expect him to max Tormented Soil first, being as it is simply his greatest source of damage and wave clear.
If thinking back on Champions Select, I am actually very surprised that SNEK did not first pick the Xayah. Jack now looking for a ward, but he's caught by the Rupture. Aikado was, in the area, but they don't opt to go for that. Vici just going to take a Piltover Peacemaker in exchange for some feathers. I am very surprised that SNEK did not first pick the Xayah as the taunt, or the stun is going to be chained into the Rupture, but Jack stands his ground.
good damage, but no real cost there. Didn't blow flash or anything, and will be able to regen his health, what with the Doran shield, and then also the passive on his decimate.
Additionally, you know, because of that gank invested by Aikado, that is going to be giving Sci-Fi a little bit of leeway in the jungle. Now Himana going in on a PB Doughboy, knocks him up. Very nice CC, chain, the feathers come through, ignite, use, summoner heal comes out to keep PB Doughboy alive. A trap dropped, the Death Sentence will only find a minion, but the Piltover Peacemaker will find Himana.
Actually really good timing there. So the way that Himana did that is he headbutted PB Doughboy into the wall and waited on his pulverize to get maximum CC duration instead of simply chaining those two together, which is so often done on Alistar. So really intelligent.
Oh, actually Sci-Fi
optimization
finds
there.
Aikado. First blood! Whoa! He just flashes for the stretching strikes, takes down Aikado, staying in the jungle very greedily after going very low against Jackalove's Lamp. Now he's going to find on the Slappy, apprehended him. Decimate does not land, however.
Yeah, really interesting. You know, Zach is typically considered a champion who
Weak in the early game?
because of especially quite a few patches ago.
Oh, and he's going to find a gank here. Reggie caught by the Dark Binding, pulled back in by the Stretching Strikes. There will be a stun coming out from the Gravity Field, and Renji will walk out.
So good kind of gank denial there coming from Renji. Very well played. Didn't even waste a summoner. But Sci-Fi is on a mission to rectify the passiveness that he kind of showed
For
last
sure.
game.
Jack now trading onto Slappy will get the Noxian Rage off. Noxian Guillotine not available because he's not hit that level 6 yet. A couple more minions maybe will do the trick.
So one of the reasons that I feel that Conquer is just so good on Darius is because not only do the Hemorrhage stacks refresh the cooldown on Conqueror, although it can only be procced through auto attacks, it is refreshed through any damage on champions. It's also making that the DOT, the bleed, true damage onto this onto the Cho'Gath, which just feels so bad.
Darius, one of the big champions that they were looking to give a keystone with the advent of Conqueror. APCH looking for a gank here. Aikado is looking for the lane gank. There's the headbutt pulverize coming in from Himana. Will be taken out with the Dark Passage, and they will not find the auto attack, but Aikado is coming around the side. Sci-Fi is in the area, though.
Yeah, good disengage there from PB Doughboy. Himana tried to kind of outplay it by chasing PB Doughboy.
Oh, there's the flash pulverize in. Karamat is going to get the Dark Passage out. Aikado comes in with the Arctic Assault. A teleport coming in. And here's the Elastic Shot. A Death Sense will pull Aikado back in. And he will be pulled in. Stretching Strikes. They find a Dark Binding onto Himana. And it's 2 kills over to Karamat of SNEK.
This is just a much different early game than last game. This is teleports from the mid laner. This is jumping in with the elastic slingshot. This is a very aggressive SNEK. They are looking to get some revenge for the quick loss that they were dealt last game.
I am astonished at how aggressive they are playing this game. It is like watching an entirely different team compared to game number 1. Not that they played all that badly in game number 1, but it's just so different in terms of their early game. And now Jack has a CS lead that you were criticizing him for earlier, and is playing very aggressively on the Slappy as SNEK pick up the Cloud Drake.
Yeah, just overall really well played. They punished the flash headbutt pulverize combo into Himana. They knew that Aikado was kind of in the area. However, Slappy had no TP, and Renji has opted not to bring Summoner Spellbook or TP, and so they knew they had the advantage with Echoed Voice. Were able to turn what might have been what I assume APCH thought was a 2v3 into a 4v3, cleaning up and getting 2 kills, I believe. So just, yeah, 2 kills.
Yeah, and
Very
this
well
is what
played.
everyone who observes these two teams has said this is the win condition for SNEK. Sci-Fi just being a stronger jungler than Aikado, and this is what you need. This is the performance you needed to see for SNEK's jungler, or if SNEK were going to make it to the semifinals. He was, up until just now, 2 levels up on Aikado, has been 6 for a while. Aikado just now hitting his 6, thanks to catch up EXP. But there was a time when he was 6 and he was 4. But now Aikado looking for a gank out of the top lane. Jack forcing away Slappy, but now they're looking. No, they're actually just going to disengage. They don't feel confident in their ability to melt through Jack before he gets a Noxian Guillotine off.
Some good game sense right there coming out from Jack. Does not have a ward currently
Well,
in that river.
He actually did see him on the tri-brush ward.
Okay.
Which is where he came in.
But anyway, understanding that he did.
Oh, Elastic Sync Shot doesn't quite find Renji, but the Stretching Strikes will pulls him back in. Echoed Voice misses the Dark Binding. Glacial Prison comes out. He couldn't throw up the Black Shield, but Let's Bounce will abduct him. Echoed Voice running away. Black Shield comes through. His Soul Shackles pop, but he will not be able to get a stun. Sci-Fi one more auto will stun him up. He does still have the passive, trying to get out. Jumping back in onto Renji, actually. Elastic Sync Shot. Summoning Hill comes out, and Renji will survive. He is blobbed, but Jack has no teleport, and it will be 2 kills over to Apache.
Yeah, unfortunately kind of misplayed there from Echoed Voice. Did miss the Dark Binding onto what was a stun target. So kind of misplayed there.
I also think he Black Shielded way too late. He allowed himself to get stunned by the gravity field, which means he couldn't throw up the Black Shield to block the Glacial Prison. Throws it up on him.
Assault. Black Shield is a very potent tool, but it doesn't do anything if you don't use it.
Yeah.
Can't build a house without a hammer.
Aikado might have been a little bit too aggressive here. Apprehend gonna pull him back in. Arctic Assault blocked by Jack, and it looks like this might be a kill. No, Rupture will get his. No, he flashes! Noxie Guillotine takes down Aikado, and now the red buff and the bleed are slowing up Slappy. Gonna pull him back in, and Death Sentence finds General Vici. There's the Yordle Snapchat. General Vici trying to stop, avoid getting on it, but he will. Featherstorm up. Karamat pulled in by the Dark Passage, and the feathers come out. Karamat will not be able to do enough damage, and Himata will take him down with the Ignite and an auto attack.
The feather damage was just insane there coming out from General Vici.
And PB Doughboy might not be out of it yet. Headbutted away from his tower. General Vici on the way back in. Does he have enough damage? No, they cannot continue to chase him. Oh, and Jack Love's now apprehending on a Slappy. He does still have the bled and the blue buff. Decimate coming out, but Noxian Guillotine not available. Cannot afford to go for this dive.
Yeah, and very aggressive from the bot lane of SNEK. And very well played from Himata again, just making sure that Karamat was not able to get enough damage down onto General Vici, and then with how much damage was there from all of the feathers coming from Featherstorm.
Sci-Fi's Elastic Sync Shot interrupted by the Arctic Assault, caught by the Glacial Prison as well. He has no passive, and here comes Renji, the Death Ray coming out. Do they have enough damage? The AC will siphon power from Renji, gets them the killing spree.
Yeah, the aggression is just, they have decided to write the course, and they're just dealing with the aggression much better. So we can hope that Landsnack will be looking to kind of take a deep breath and refresh and get back on healthy aggression instead of just fighting.
Speaking of aggression, Apache flash pulverize, and they will get the stun onto Karamat. He'll have to flash away. What was he doing that far up without PB Doughboy? Meanwhile, Jack is getting ganked, stunned up, will get an apprehend. Decimate will not come through, and it will be Aikido picking up a kill onto the top lane.
This is a totally different game from the first 5 to 7 minutes.
Yeah, Apache answer back with aggression of their own, and SNEK, they don't know how to slow it down.
Slappy is making sure that the CS lead is coming back. It's now tied 86 to 86. A very large CS lead in the mid lane for Renji, and a large CS lead for General Vici, which pretty much should not happen against a Caitlyn lane, who's very known for having the
Jack teleporting up, trying to stop them. Apprehends, pulls in Aikado. He gets tower aggro thanks to the Cinderhulk, and Jack does have his ultimate stunned up. Doesn't have his flash though. You remember he used that earlier, but he does get the full stacks onto Slappy, looking for some more damage. The Feast is not available. The Rupture will be, however. Jack trying to get in there. That's a 1v2 situation. Aikado is still here. Gets a heal off on the Decimate. Arctic Assault comes through. Noxie Guillotine. They get Slappy. Is he gonna get 2? Aikado. He doesn't get the refresh, but there's the Decimate coming out. The bleed coming around. Jack has to back away. The minions will not be able to finish off Aikado. He did not get the Noxian Guillotine kill.
The slow from the red buff made it so that Jack Love's Lamp could not get quite in range for the Decimate, saving Slappy's life, or saving Aikido's life. But overall, well played from Jack Love's Lamp to get the kill there and still save the turret.
Yes, does save the tower. It actually means tower first blood picked up by SNEK, thanks to Sci-Fi being in that bottom lane.
However, Jack Love's Lamp is going for a much more defensive build, starting with the Spectre's Cowl, as opposed to going for the Black Cleaver Rush, which he opted to do last game.
Yeah, and recognizes he's not quite as far ahead. In addition, Aikido is going to be doing magic damage, is sort of, you know, getting that double efficiency on who he's going to be fighting.
How
SNEK, the death sentence will find Aikado. Elastic Slingshot finds 2. There's gonna Let's Bounce in the tanks, but what can they do? Soul Shackles is gonna come out from Echoed Voice, but he doesn't have a stopwatch. He's gonna get melted! General Vici takes him down, and now SNEK have to get out of there.
Yeah, good counterattack there from Apache getting onto Echoed Voice. Unfortunately, Karamat was simply not able to do enough damage because of how tanky this team is.
Yeah, that was so poorly played by SNEK. Echoed, Sci-Fi abducted 2 tanks from Apache, which is not necessarily bad, but Echoed Voice walked in to get in a position for more members of Soul Shackles, but it doesn't matter if you can't. Oh, that's a Death Sentence onto Slappy. He gets caught by the 90 or the Yordle Snap Trap as well. Jack is doing a good job wave clearing with the Decimate as best he can.
But as you can see, Karamat was almost doing no damage there to Slappy, despite him getting many headshots from the Yordle Snap Trap and for the Yordle Snap Trap and Trap. Excuse me.
Oh, and the Rift Herald forced to be used there. Dark Binding not quite gonna find him. He does get it off just before the Gravity Field stuns him up.
Almost very well played there from Renji, but unfortunately was not able to stop that in time.
Yeah. They are just going to try and push this in as best they can so that the Rift Herald at least gets to barrel into the tower.
They did lose first tower top, though, to minion aggro.
No, they got it bought.
Oh, yeah, they did. But they did lose the top tower.
Yes. You are correct about that one.
Yeah, so Karamat has picked up his Zeal item. We'll start to be doing a bit more damage with the crits coming out of that. And we'll just have to see kind of who can scale better versus this Caitlyn or this Xayah. Xayah does a lot more damage since she does the double infinity or the double BF sword items. However, the range from Karamat might allow him to get a few more autos off from safer distances that General Vici.
Good Voice going to be handed off the blue buff. Renji is, you know, the big problem that SNEK have to deal with right now. 301 on this Victor is going to be doing a lot of damage. However, they do have a very good team for dealing with Victor in the form of Darius and Zac. Victor is a champion that is very short range as far as mages go. He's more of a mid-range, yeah. And immobile, like you said. He does get a lot of movement speed.
He does get some speed with the Q, I believe, the Siphon Power.
Yes.
But that is really not too helpful against champions like Sci-Fi, which will kind of just be flying in without too much time to react. Much better for extended trades where you're able to proc that. So if Sci-Fi is able to get on top of Renji, we'll be able to stop him from putting out as much damage.
For sure. And additionally, you know, Victor is very good burst, but the death ray, just using the death ray and siphon power over the course of a team fight, it's not as high of DP. Oh, there's the flash headbutt pulverized. Karamat now getting jumped on by Slappy. However, he's silenced up. The root comes through. There's the Let's Bounce being used. Azanya's used by PB Doughboy. The feathers come out and they rip through SNEK, but General Vici was exhausted. PB Doughboy will fall. Karamat on the other side. Jack is a double kill for General Vici, and Sci-Fi and Echoed Voice are running away. Elastic Slingshot will not find him. Echoed Voice gets a black shield, but do they have the damage to break it? I think so. Ignite comes out and Himana picks up the kill.
Yeah, it feels good, man, when the top lane tank is able to essentially 2v1 the ADC and still get the kill. So very well played there from Apache, and SNEK was simply not able to deal with all of that damage.
Yeah, no, it actually just very poor positioning by SNEK. Jack and Sci-Fi were trying to deal with General Vici when their ADC was just getting so much pressure from Slappy. They really need to help Karamat take down the tank, or else they're going to lose the fight.
And the thing is, General Vici has a much safer champion, what with the Featherstorm and vulnerability, whereas Karamat had no real way to deal with Slappy once he got on top of it.
Yeah.
Okay, looking for a tower here, pushing this advantage. A new minion wave will be able to get this gold up on the map and push their lead into what is looking like a 4,000 gold lead at 18 minutes. So once again, pushing a lead. This might be an early game.
Yeah. Apache with a 4,000 gold lead after a very strong early game from SNEK. They really were just not able to capitalize. Were punished. You know, not really even. It's not really a punish. It's more of just 1v1 outplays.
Yeah.
In the bottom lane, 2v2 in the mid lane by Renji and Aikado over Echoed Voice and Sci-Fi.
Yeah, overall, it just kind of seems like the advantages are leaning into Apache's favor, what with the incredibly large gold lead with the Victor. I mean, as we know, Victor in the late game can just be brutal against squishy targets like ADCs. Or against his Morgana, who I assume has not decided to go for what could be a more defensible late game item, such as Seraph's Embrace or Rod of Ages, going for the Luden's Echo. However, will be building what appears to be Zhonya's Hourglass for survivability.
Yeah, and for the combo with the Soul Shackles, Death Sense finds Aikado. He will not get the Apprehend to interrupt the Arctic Assault, unfortunately. Now SNEK, 5-man strong in the mid lane, but that mid lane is littered with wards from Apache. The Baron spawning in 40 seconds. And this has been a point of contest by both teams. Both of them really want to go for that early. Sci-Fi handing off the red buff to Karamat. It's very dangerous for two members to be around this bottom side right now, because that means Apache established vision control of the Baron area. With it spawning in 20 seconds, SNEK had to find some way of knowing they're not doing it.
However, it does kind of look like both of the side lanes will be pushing Apache's favor. As time goes on, it looks like there are larger minion waves. Especially with Renchi going up to clear the minion wave in the top lane. They will be pushing. So if SNEK is going to do anything, they would probably need to do it now, or they need to kind of reset and get those waves into a more favorable position. Okay.
I'm gonna give a lot of credit here to Himana. Himana has been finding some very good headbutt pulverizes to start off the fight. Essentially locking down the key members of SNEK. He didn't get onto Karamat, but Karamat was not who he needed to get on in that last fight. He got onto the engage power of SNEK. So SNEK was sort of, because Sci-Fi has to wind up for his engage. You have to wind up the elastic slingshot. And he was not allowed to do that before he got too low to the point that he can't jump in anymore.
Yeah.
Nice ward there by SNEK. Will not actually be spotted out by the control ward or Aikado sweeper.
Yeah, and at this point, Apache are just able to kind of force their way into SNEK's jungle, getting vision, just securing that kind of ownership around the Baron. Jackalop's Lamp has pushed the bot lane. It will be a little bit more favorable for SNEK, and will be backing, looking to try and get to that engage towards the top side of the map, whereas Slappy is still in the bot lane. Okay.
SNEK, they're desperately trying to find something in their jungle, but Apache had the inside track thanks to all the vision control, able to put down some damage onto that tower before SNEK is there to clear it.
It is very efficient though, the wave clear coming out from this Morgana, making it hard for them to do too much and push this tower without the mini buff.
And the Black Shield also negates a lot of the engage power from Apache, but Echo Voice has to be a little bit faster about using it, be a little bit less conservative with it than he has been. SNEK clearing, or Apache rather, clearing out some more vision. Jack trying to push his matchup in that sense. Oh, PB Doughboy gonna face check into 3 members of Apache! Just chain CC, nothing to talk about there. PB Doughboy goes down, wandering into an area he did not own.
Yeah, just, it's very tough for them to be able to
Aikado is going to be found by a Yordle Snapchat. He has Tower Aggro, Elastic Slingshot, dodged by the Let's Bounce, but they will abduct Himana. Caught in there with Tower Aggro, Dark Binding comes through, he takes a lot of damage. The Yordle Snapchat, so much chain CC! Himana will get Locket, Ace in the hole will take him down. Aikado tries to block, but now he's caught! It will be 2 quick kills over to SNEK.
Very good counterattack from SNEK. Sci-Fi getting onto the backline, although they were not able to get General Vici or Renji, he was able to kidnap Himana and able to get the kill, which led into kill on Aikado. I almost feel as though Aikado should have kind of just let Himana die too far away to really be able to block the Ace in the hole, and just ends up giving over another kill. And what should be pressure around the Baron pit, as Sci-Fi should be able to go in and clear out a lot of this vision.
For sure. Yeah. Really nice chain CC from SNEK there. Elastic Slingshot chained perfectly into the Dark Binding. The Unbreakable Will was not available. He used it very early in the fight to absorb damage. Means he cannot cleanse the CC. Means that the Yordle Snap Trap comes down and he's just stuck under tower for so long.
And Karamat did a very good job kind of layering those one after the other, although that he was not able to put them down directly under Himana, was able to put them in front, cut off his escape route and make it so he had nowhere to go. Almost did get out just because of how tanky he's gotten at this point, what with the shield and the ultimate, but still was not able to get out scot-free.
Yeah, but crucially, that is his flash used and he didn't escape, means that there is no flash headbutt pulverize available for the next fight, but Aikado's lingering around the side. SNEK are all 5 here. Slappy and Renji not yet in the area. Sci-Fi hanging outside in pockets of vision. Well, I take it back. He walks in and sees the minions. The minions see him.
However, Sci-Fi is not really sitting on a full item yet. He does have his jungle item, but is only sitting at components, what with the Crystalline Bracer, the Giant Spell, and the Kindle Gem.
Ooh, Echoed Voice caught by the headbutt pulverize. He cannot Black Shield, and he'll get taken down. Renji picks him up. Very, very quick play by Apache without the mid laner of SNEK. Will they go for this Baron?
Like we were talking about, Echoed Voice is just simply not landing his shield on time, sitting at 1, 4, and 3, just kind of falling under the engage of Himana. Should have been able to kind of see that coming and land the Black Shield, and what with his flash, probably should have been able to get out there.
So Apache not confident enough to go for a Baron with only the 1 man advantage, so they will instead go for the Cloud Drake.
Aikato just kind of sitting on the outside of the pit playing, or running interference. Okay. Pushing up the mid lane, and looks like they're just going to try and reset, spin the golden stern.
A lot of the resources being funneled into Renji for Apache. Well, not really funneled into Renji by Apache, but more so they can't really get the in light of the Death Ray just taking it all. SNEK, on the other hand, they're funneling a lot into Karamat and Jack Loves Lamb, who now have minion leads that they did not have during the laning phase. It's actually building up quite a bit. Slappy is not going to be able to deal with Jack in that bottom lane in the split push anymore.
Unfortunately, this is kind of to the detriment of Echoed Voice. Sitting at 1, 4, and 3, and about 70 CS underneath Renji. Only has 2 items as opposed to the 2.5 coming in from Renji. Also has his complete boots, whereas Echoed Voices does not. So overall, Morgana will just simply not do as much damage as Renji at this point in the game.
Oh, they didn't get the control ward. And they're spotted on a ward.
However, if Echoed Voice is able to land a clutch bind, will pay dividends onto this choice.
And, you know, it is a little bit better. The story is a little bit better for Echoed Voice now that he does have that Zhonya's Hourglass. Can go for a little bit more aggressive of Soul Shackles. Use his body as his own tool as PB Doughboy caught by the Glacial Prison. Too far forward. Himana gets in onto Karamat, but the Elastic Signature comes out. PB Doughboy flashes away, gets the Locket Shield, flays away Aikato. Will he go down? Exhaust used, but here comes Slappy, and that'll be a quick kill over to Apache. Dark Binding going out. Karamat has to flash away. Himana getting onto him. He's going to get the Gravity Field. Chaos Storm blows him up. Karamat goes down, but not before taking down Himana. Echoed Voice gets a Dark Binding, but only to cover his escape, but now Jack is in trouble. Landing the bleed coming out, gets a heal off, but he is stunned up by Aikato, and that will be him going down. The bleed will not be enough to get Aikato thanks to the summoning here from General Vici.
Unfortunately, it just seems like the story of this split is too far forward on SNEK's side. You know, in the first game, Jack Loves Lamb was a little bit too far forward, got caught out, and this is the second time that PB Doughboy's been caught out for being a little bit too far forward, and it looks like they're going to convert this into a Baron.
Yeah, Karamat and Jack down. The only damage source for SNEK available is Echoed Voice, but they're teleporting him in. They still don't want to give this one up. Soul Shackles and Zhonya's are available if he goes for it, but he's going to get zoned out completely by Renji. Just the threat of the damage coming out will secure the Baron over to Apache.
Yeah, kind of easy Baron there, easy turnaround.
Oh,
However,
Rupture.
Sci-Fi does not want to let
The
this
Dark
go.
Binding comes out. The Black Shield was on cooldown. He pops the Soul Cycles and Zanya's. The Dark Passage going to be taken as he comes back out. A teleport coming in from Jack. Sci-Fi throws two together with the Stretching Strikes. Apprehend will find him. Now Karamat coming around, and they will take down Himana.
They are able to take out the support, but Apache got the Baron on 4 members. I'd still say very, very worth.
For sure.
SNEK, however, going to do what they can at this time, try and get maybe a little bit of damage onto this mid lane turret, losing a lot of minions to the bot wave tower, but Jack Love's Lamps is going to head down there and try and clear that out.
And SNEK can't. The Tormented Soil is simply not enough wave clear with how behind Echoed Voice is to allow Jack to exert split push pressure. He has a very large CS lead over Slappy and up until recently a kill lead. And he has a better matchup. And now PB Doughboy is out of position yet again, slowed up by the Righteous Glory, caught by the Rupture, and it will be another kill over to Apache.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of the same story. We've seen this before. PB Doughboy is not where he should be, and he ends up dead. This is, again, a 4v5 for the next 30 seconds.
Trap's going to be used trying to, well, nope, nobody's there to punish him for it, so it's a very easy inhibitor tower for Apache.
Yeah. This is very similar to last game. You know, they've got the kill, they got the Baron, now they're pushing in. They are going to back off, not try and go for the end right now. But, you know, this is a 7,000 gold lead. At this point, SNEK is going to have to do quite a bit to get back in this game.
Close. Almost interrupts Slappy's recall.
Caitlyn does have 3 items at this point, so that's very important to look at.
Well, crucially, none of those 3 items is a Last Whisper, which I very much disagree with that decision.
Probably should have traded the 3rd Zeal item for a Last Whisper. Didn't even have to complete it before going into that Zeal item.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, and Karamat is gonna want that 2nd Zeal item, but at the point in the game, it doesn't matter how fast you're attacking or how much you're critting if you can't get through the multitudes of armor that Slappy has. Slappy's the one who's gonna be in Karamat's face. Slappy's the one that Karamat needs to itemize against. Okay, they're looking for a last ditch fight here. Elastic Slingshot is going to be finding nobody. He's going to get silenced up and pulled back in and taken down. Gravity Field knocks him out. Glacial Prison finds onto Jack Love's Lamp. A Death Sentence will find Aikado, but that is the tank, and the Chaos Storm is just pushing SNEK away.
Sci-Fi does have a large amount of HP right now, what with the Warmog's armor, but has hardly any resistances, was not landing. His Elastic Slingshot was not able to proc the Aftershock, so was simply not getting the resistances.
Oh, and there is the Banner of Command from Aikado used onto the Cannon minion with the Baron buff. I don't think SNEK can actually stop this tower from going down. Death Sentence comes in, it finds Himana, but Himana pops his ultimate and just walks it out as the rest of his team forces down the inhibitor.
Yeah, the bannered Baron minion was nerfed in recent patches, but is still doing a lot of damage to structures.
And now with 2 inhibitors down, 8 towers to 1, a 9,000 gold lead just about for Apache, and they're going to get a 2nd Ocean Drain. SNEK find themselves in very dire straits.
Yeah, and the 7,000 gold lead has grown to 8, so not quite as big as it could be at this point. So, you know, potentially if they can stem the bleeding, they might be able to wait until Caitlyn gets a Last Whisper, but not looking great at this point.
Yeah, no, this game is very easy for Apache to, you know, close out. They are already winning team fights, and it doesn't seem to be, that fact does not seem to be changing anytime soon. Sci-Fi takes the blue buff away from Echoed Voice. Apache, all they need to do at this point is, you know, group up and push down that top lane with the minions pressuring their other 2 lanes.
And with how much sustain they'll have from the 2 Drakes, they can just push and out-sustain land SNEK at this point.
Yeah, it's not as though SNEK can really clear the waves, honestly, with just the Apache has too much threat of engage for them to even get close to it. That sentence goes wide from PB Doughboy.
trying to set up traps right here. Caitlyn looks like she's trying to get the anti-siege, but it is hard enough for her to walk up and put those in position without possibly getting comboed by the Alistar or hit with the Glacial Prison from this.
Yeah, and now Slappy, he walks forward very menacingly. Elastic Slingshot comes through. The Arctic Assault doesn't find it. There's the Let's Bounce finds, abducts 2 members. Soul Shackles comes out from Echoed Voice. Zanya's in. The Dark Binding is landing onto him. Slappy's getting into the backline. They shut down Renji. Slappy bites down onto Sci-Fi, and Sci-Fi will get blood, but he gets flamed back in. Death Sense in. General Vici's unstoppable as he takes out Jack. Slappy finally falls down. APCH now in a 4v3 situation. Flash doesn't get anything. Elastic Slingshot will find one. A Death Sense chained in, and it will be General Vici taking him down. And Himana gets in the backline. They take down Aikata with the help of Echoed Voice. Karamat now alive, and they've taken down all but one, but a Death Sentence will force the flash out of General Vici. The ace in the hole. Summoner heal burn by General Vici to survive, but they're losing their Nexus towers. Echoed Voice throws down the Tormented Soil, but that's all the way clear he has, and this big minion wave is gonna be putting down a lot of damage.
Very good defense there coming out from SNEK. They did save their tower, and did burn the teleport to save the inhibitor turrets. But despite Slappy's best efforts, they were not able to get on Karamat, who was putting out a lot of damage onto Slappy. And he does have Lord Dominic's Regard at this point, which is very strong into Cho'Gath because of the HP he built. I am almost looking at him to potentially build Blade of the Ruin King final item because of how important HP is on this Cho'Gath. He will need some lifesteal, but potentially he'll be looking for something with a bit more survivability, so potentially going into Mercurial Scimitar.
I think that would be I think that would be more likely. It does give you a bit of magic resist to survive Renji's burst, but crucially it gives you the cleanse, which is going to be very important if he gets caught by the Glacial Prison, because that Black Shield more than likely will be going in onto Sci-Fi so they can get in uncontested, as APCH are starting up the Baron. Jack Love's Lamp has his teleport, but he's in the bottom lane, and they now know it's going down, but it looks like they're just going to give that one up.
Well, with the Beast, they just simply couldn't really contest this, and Slappy is huge. With 11 stacks, so much HP, and will be doing so much damage on his Beast.
And even has the Stone Plate to not quite double the damage, but does a lot.
Slappy's obscenely big. Like, no championship.
APCH now they're starting to get back into pushing that top lane like we were talking about. SNEK clear it out one wave, but here comes another. SNEK are doing as best they can there, but APCH, they are noticeably more hesitant. They do not relish the idea of another good Elastic Slingshot Let's Bounce combo landing from Sci-Fi.
And that is something to pick out. Sci-Fi was able to get onto Renji, one of their most fed members, and they were able to kill him before he could do too much damage in the fight. So very good there from Sci-Fi, and if they can do that again on either General Vici or Renji, they have a good chance.
Yeah, but the tower is gone. That's a well, not quite gone, but basically gone with the Banner Command Baron minion. The Bruce Banner minion. Oh, but the Apprehend finds Slappy. Elastic Slingshot is invested in there. Are they going to be able to root him down? They do lose the tower. Let's Bounce is going to be used. Flashed away from by Slappy. Now they get a Glacial Prison onto PB Doughboy, but Aikido is melting! Caramat's on a rampage, but the Chaos Storm doing so much damage. PB Doughboy goes down, but the Apprehend finds Renji over the wall! Maxine Guillotine shuts him down!
Very good defense here from SNEK. They are punishing the over pushes and the separations coming in from APCH, trying to defend their inhibitors, and despite losing the tower, they do manage to keep all 3 inhibitors up, successfully defending the 2 Baron pushes coming in from APCH.
And what an amazing apprehend from Jack Love's Lamp.
Over the
wall, and they punish him.
That's a feels bad for Renji. He thought he was out. He thought he was over the wall, and then gets hit by the Apprehend. Very well done from Jack Love's Lamp. And Karamat doing so much damage to Aikado.
Yep. Oh, man.
Did pick up the Quicksilver Sash, kind of like we talked about, going for Mercurial Scimitar, leaving his red buff for his ADC. Good guy jungler. So yeah, I am really excited to see what Karamat can do to try and get his team back.
This is dangerous. This is an Elder Dragon, 3 elementals, 4 Apache. SNEK do have the leisure of being able to leave their base without minions ending the game, but it's still a very dangerous fight.
They have big waves, the top, mid, and bot lane too. So we'll have some pressure.
Yeah, if this dragon fight gets being a very complex dance, look at Ikato just melt at the face of Karamat.
Luckily, however, for SNEK, this is not a, Infernal Drake and
SNEK,
Mountain
Slappy
Drake.
gets in the rupture, misses, Death Sense will find him. He gets Elastic Seer on Dark Binding in. Oh, flash from Himana! He doesn't find a combo! Slappy gets less bounced out, but they've already lost the passive set. Echoed Voice is gonna get a Death Sense comes out, and Soul Shackle's not gonna be used. Jackal's gonna take down Slappy. Himana is also down. They've already lost Sci-Fi, but Akado's Death Sense in, and it looks like SNEK is winning the fight! By General Vici, and the Quadra kill for Jack Loves Lamp. Death Sense finds Reggie. Are they gonna give it to him? No, it's an ace for SNEK. They get the Elder Dragon.
So clean from Jack Loves Lamp. Timed the apprehend perfectly to when General Vici comes out of the Blade Collar. They're pushing up. They're going to try. These are large death timers. 20 seconds on Himana.
And they've got an Elder Dragon. The Elder Dragon true damage will burn through these towers. They've only got 1 elemental. SNEK is looking for more. Himana is up in 8 seconds. What can SNEK do?
It's 15 seconds on their next carry. They're pushing in. They might be looking for
SNEK is looking for the end! It's gonna be very close! PB Doughboy taking out the tower, gets the Death Sense. Himana has no ultimate! SNEK is looking for the end of the game, and they might get it! Slappy's alive! Gets caught by a trap. No, they can't end! They have to leave!
But so much damage done to the base. The middle inhibitor down. One Nexus turret down. Although they were not able to quite get the end, that was such a well-played fight and punish from SNEK.
Jack teleports in, absorbs a lot of the damage from the tower, pushes down 2 and an inhibitor, plus a Nexus tower to boot.
Karamat is doing so much damage, melting through Ikato, melting through Himana, melting through Slappy. They are just, and despite how much Himana blew to keep him out of the fight, was not able to keep him out. And then not only that, Jack Loves Lamp is coming in clutch with that Quadra kill.
Yeah, okay, so Himana flashed in for a combo, flashed onto a trap, and ends up pulverizing the ground.
Ugh. That feels bad, man.
And then he tried to headbutt in. Oh, Sci-Fi, they're looking for Slappy! And there's 3 members here! Let's bounce! Doesn't find anyone. Slappy is gonna be focused, but the Rupture finds Karamat! But exhaust on the General Vici! And Slappy is gonna go down! They play him back! Featherstorm is available, QSS used, but the feathers go the wrong direction. Glacial Prison comes down, but it's only to disengage.
Very good headbutt coming out from Himana, making sure that General Vici does not get touched, but they are going in, trying to get this top lane tower.
It lands SNEK. They still got Elder Dragon for a few more seconds, but they have no wave. And they're up 1 tank. That's Slappy. Death Sentence goes wide from PB Doughboy. There's no Featherstorm and no flash from General Vici. Elastic Slingshot being prepared. Arctic Assault will interrupt, and they're looking for stretching strikes. They pull back in Ikato, but that's only to push them away because they're looking at the inhibitor. That is their focus. Jack with a Guardian's Angel is so threatening.
Double inhibitors down. They now have super minions pushing in the mid lane and the top lane. However, they will most likely need to do a little bit of housekeeping down in the bot lane because there is a large wave pushing down there. Echoed Voices could potentially go down there, clear that out, and then TP back.
Alright, now here's the dangerous part. They need to not get interrupted on their way out. Good Black Shield from Echoed Voice will ensure Sci-Fi survives the Glacial Prison and is able to Elastic Sync out. But PB Doughboy flashing over the wall.
Baron in 10 seconds. If they take too long to back, this could be Baron for Apache.
That is a very large minion wave, and they've sent Karamat to deal with it. Karamat is not ready for this fight. The Baron is live now. He's on his way. He knows his mistake in positioning. Teleport coming in from Slappy. Apache are they forcing Jack away.
They are not doing this quickly though.
Yeah, but Himano headbutts out. That means there's no headbutt available. Pulverize used on the Jack as well. Death Sense pulls Slappy away. Elastic Six Shot from Sci-Fi. He lets bounce him in. And they're get out of there. There's nowhere to smite. It's secured by Ikato. But now Jack, what can he do? General Vici solo. Chaos Storm middling away. They lose Himana. It's 1-for-1 so far. Oh! Vici's down. General Vici's down. The Guardian Angel. He pulls back up. Echo Voice is on a killing spree. It's an ace for SNEK.
TPing into the base, trying to get the kill onto the last Nexus turret, and clinching this game. What a comeback from SNEK!
Echo Voice teleports in, and that's it! SNEK is gonna take game number 2 and put the series at 1-1. No matter how slow it goes, it doesn't matter because the death timers on APCH are too long. SNEK, take game number 2.
Echoed Voice might have been a little bit slow on his Black Shields at the beginning of the game. However, he landed a clutch Black Shield onto Sci-Fi before the Baron fight, saved him from being caught, and then allowed them to win the fight around Baron Pit. Fabulously played.
Alright, that is SNEK taking a gigantic comeback. Absolutely ridiculous gold lead that APCH had, and they were not able to close it out. We are going to take a short break. I think we need it before we go into the final game of the series to determine which of these two teams, both spectacularly playing this series, will go into the semifinals. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you in a few minutes. Internet, hello and welcome back to OKLCS Spring 2018 Diamond Capped Quarterfinals. This is only the first of two quarterfinals and it's already been absolutely insane. That game number 2, that SNEK was able to, grind out just insane tower defense or base defense. Was able to slowly turn the game, won a fight at the Elder Dragon after getting their inhibitors back up, and was able to just push down the win after two more team fights.
Yeah, just incredibly well done on the side of Landsneck, making sure that their ADC Karamat was able to put out the damage on his Caitlyn. Um, you know, there were some issues in the early game with them, falling to ganks a little bit or dying a little bit too soon. But eventually they were able to get it together and make sure that the Cho'Gath and the Alistar and the Sejuani were not able to get on their important carries, putting out a lot of damage and eventually coming back and just absolutely, I think it was like 3 aces in a row.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive, honestly. That was not at all
Expected.
no, like that game looked over.
Yeah,
It looked over. Like there were two inhibitors down. Crucially, SNEK never let the third inhibitor down at the same time,
exactly.
which probably would have meant they lost the game. But just that little bit was not able. Apache was not able to close out.
And some really good picks on the side of SNEK with the apprehends over walls from Jackalove's Lamp and the picks and let's bounces coming out of Sci-Fi's Zac. Just very good defenses to make sure that Apache could not capitalize on all of the advantages they had built for themselves.
Yeah, we are currently waiting on the teams to be ready to start into Champion Select. Apache did have side selection in game number 3 as the higher seed, and they have opted for the blue side. Excuse me.
Okay. It looks like one of the players is
We're just waiting on players to finish whatever they're doing. It was a long game. I completely understand
yeah.
if they need just a little bit.
Little bit of time to kind of refocus, especially on the side of Apache. Sometimes when you have such a lead and end up losing, that can be really tilting. However, if they can just get themselves into good mental, fix their headspace, and come back into this third game on very much the same vein as the beginning of the second game and the entirety of the first game, looking like they could get into a very strong game 3.
Yeah. And this is game 3. The series is tied at 1-1. Whoever wins this game is the team that goes on to the semifinals. I will be very sad to see either of these teams go, but one of them has to. We are in Champion Select for the final game of the series. Slappy, Apache bans away the Varus yet again from Karamat. Xerath taken off the table by SNEK. They have chosen to focus onto that mid lane. I would be very not surprised to see the Vel'Koz come out here.
Yeah.
Removing those artillery mages that Renji likes so much.
Yeah, and as we saw, Renji put on a lower range champion, was doing very well in the early to mid game, but once those 5v fights started to happen, was caught a few more times with Sci-Fi as he was a little bit closer to
And
the fray.
Zac.
Yeah.
Yeah, very crucially, take away the Zac that Sci-Fi was doing so well on in that second game. Swain taken
banned.
off again, just that very safe blind pickable champion. And it will be Aikudo back on his Skarner from game number 1.
Was making a lot of good picks the first game. They did ban it out, or SNEK did ban it out the second game, so we'll see if he's able to have more of that effectiveness coming into game 3.
Yeah, and that's a really that goes to show just how powerful that Swain pick is. Both teams feel the need to ban it on the red side. Caitlyn taken by SNEK, so Karamat will get that very high damage, high range ADC again, but that leaves open the Zyrakan for Apache.
However, last game it was also open and they decided not to take it, going for the Alistar as well. So potentially not a bot lane that they're really that interested in. And even if they do decide to go Zyra Khan, SNEK has picked up Morgana again, Morgana Caitlyn. generally considered a counter to Zyra Khan. However, as we've seen, Morgana can be flexed into the mid lane for Echoed Voice as well.
Yeah. I know that PB Doughboy can play the Morgana, but it is one of Echoed Voice's comfort champions. It is something that he feels very safe on. It is a very safe pick in the mid lane, obviously.
Yep.
Apache kind of struggling with what to pick for their second rotation, but at the end of the day, it is Gangplank for Slappy. Blind picking the Gangplank up.
Okay, looks like we are moved out of champion select, potentially a misclick. Yes, it appears as though that was a misclick, so I think we will be restarting champion select
it appears to
momentarily.
be that way. So that Gangplank was not an intended pick by the side of Apache. However, they need to like, what are they?
Don't they need to claim what they were going to say?
Yeah, this seems like a ruling issue that I will more than likely have to deal with here fairly soon. We're gonna go to a standby screen while I probably will go and moderate this. So sorry for the delay. We will get into game 3 shortly, so please let us go to standby screen for just a little bit. Internet, welcome back to OKLCS Spring 2018 Diamond Capped Quarterfinals. There was an issue with Champion Select in game number 3, and at the end of the day, it ends up with that the Gangplank pick will stay on the side of Apache, so that will be their pick. Going into the next round of picks on the side of SNEK. And they are going to be making the champion select shortly. We should be getting into it any second now.
Waiting.
Go.
Yeah, so just kind of speaking
There it
on
is.
this Gangplank pick though, he's moved out of the meta with the nerfs to his barrels, with the nerfs to Relic Shield as well, and the nerfs to um Leptomancy as well. So I would assume the Gangplank would most likely take uh Grasp of the Undying, which is kind of risen into prevalence on Gangplanks nowadays.
Yeah.
However, could easily be counterpicked by Jack Love's Lamp, and so I assume that there will be a bit punishment from this lock-in right here.
Yeah. So they're just going again to ban and pick and ban the same champions up until the Gangplank, up to and including the Gangplank rather. And then we will see what SNEK will respond with. Excuse me.
Yeah, so all the same bans, all the same should be the same first picks. Skarner, of course, as we talked about, very strong for Aikado.
Yeah, they picked Caitlyn and Morgana on the side of SNEK. Morgana, again, a flex pick for SNEK, could be going to either Echoed Voice in the mid lane or PB Doughboy in the support role. Not sure why they're taking so long with this one. There you go.
And I mean, I guess even as we've seen the changes to her passive, within around preseason, she could potentially go into the jungle. We'll see if Sci-Fi has the balls to
The
pilot this
jungle
Morgana
Morgana.
in the jungle.
I've played it a lot in normals, and it's actually really fun. You don't have a whole lot of problems with clear probably after like level 3 if you put 2 points into Tormented Soil, because you just get the cooldown so quickly and heal off of the big minion. So the Gangplank pick, not necessarily like terrible.
We'll just have to see if he gets counterpicked, which I assume he will.
Yeah. So I mean, it could be piloted by either Slappy or Renji, depending on which of them is more comfortable playing the champion. I know that Slappy has played it previously. Um, so we'll see what SNEK choose in ooh, Olaf for Sci-Fi. Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
So
I assume Olaf will be going into the jungle, but it could potentially go into the top lane.
I feel confident saying that it's going to be Sci-Fi's Olaf in the jungle.
Okay.
Now, SNEK will ban away Jin. Now going to pinch the ADC pool of Apache.
Pretty good decision with how squishy they are currently. Olaf can get pretty tanky, but isn't as tanky as say Sejuani or another champion like that.
Alistair banned by Apache, so they are convinced that. Well, okay, we'll wait. I'll wait on judgment here until I see that last ban. But I would expect they are expecting Echoed Voices Morgana, and so they're gonna ban away PB Doughboy supports as best they can.
Braum is what I was expecting. Yeah.
So now let's see. What can PB Doughboy play?
Tarek.
Okay.
Very good with Olaf. Very good with Olaf.
Tarek Olaf, you
cannot kill him. You
can't
cannot touch him, and he kills you.
You don't get to do anything in that. Tarek Olaf, he runs at you with the speed. He's invulnerable thanks to the Tarek ultimate, and he can't be CC'd thanks to the Ragnarok. That is that's intimidating.
That is a good word.
Kaisa for General Vici. Okay. So Apache say, we'll raise your Olaf and we'll raise you a Kaisa.
Yeah, however, Caitlyn is very good into Kaisa in the early game because that is a 125 unit range disparity between the 650 of Caitlyn and the 525 of Kaisa.
Okay. Granted though that Apache has the double range lane up against Tarek though. and Cho'Gath picked up, so that will be Renji's Gangplank, and Slappy will be taking the Cho'Gath for the third time in a row.
And I assume Darius again as the counter. Uh, did not do super great the first time, but very strong in the second
Yeah,
game,
Jack had
getting a
some
lot of
very
good
good
picks.
showings on that Darius. I would not be surprised to see him lock that in again, and there it is.
Unless they're planning to go the full AP Cho'Gath mid, which just doesn't seem viable to me.
Yeah.
Uh,
So it will be Renji's Gangplank in the mid lane. Slappy will be piloting that Cho'Gath in the top lane, yet again up against Jack's Darius.
Yet, I would say, just speaking on Kaisa, because Kaisa, since her release, has become one of my favorite champions. Just a very fun champion to play. Is very good in team comps with very high CC, such as in a lane with Thresh, who has 2 CC abilities with the Flay and the Descendants, being able to get 2 stacks on her passive. And then also with the very point and click CC coming from Skarner, making it so that there will be a lot of options for her to use her ult to dash. And with the also the knockup coming in from Cho'Gath, potentially getting a multi-man knockup, getting many stacks on the passive, could pop her very strong passive relatively easily.
All right, so now consider, however, that you gotta deal with. You can't ult sci-fi because of Ragnarok.
Exactly.
You can't ult whoever gets the Black Shield from Echoed Voice. And after a certain point in the game, you can no longer ult Karamet's Caitlyn because he will have the QSS.
I can't remember, but I'm not sure if it still stacks plasma during the
Oh,
Taric ult because it might
yeah,
stack
it
plasma, and
it
as long
should.
as the enemy has plasma on them, she can use the dash.
Yes, that is true. Um,
Um, so potentially, even though she won't be able to put out the damage because of the cosmic radiance, still getting potentially the uh, mobility and kind of escapes as well, potentially, and repositioning with her ultimate.
so, uh, 2 minutes left on the spectator delay. Again, this is game number 3 between APCH and SNEK. APCH took game number 1 after what would look to be very close game, and then they found one pick onto Jack's Darius and were able to snowball that into a Baron into the base of SNEK. Game number 2 looking to go much the same way until SNEK were able to pull off an amazing base defense and
Yes,
win the game off of an Elder Dragon fight that went completely their way in a quadra kill for Jack's Darius. Jack is again on Darius for the third time in the same matchup, Darius versus Cho'Gath.
and has been going downhill for the Cho'Gath. As we said, relatively decent showing game one, bullied a bit more in game two, so we'll have to see how it goes game three.
um, I am concerned for APCH. A lot of the most of their all of their champions are relatively low range compared to other options in their respective roles.
Yes,
Um,
Kai'Sa's very low ranged. Uh, GP relatively low
yeah,
ranged.
especially compared to what Renji is used to playing, that Xerath and the Vel'Koz that
Exactly.
were banned away this game, and then Cho'Gath basically entirely melee, Skarner much the same. Um,
No,
you're up against an Olaf.
if he
If
gets
you
on
were
you,
trying to if you're trying to do damage to him, he's slowing you and putting out a lot of his own damage. Of course, Olaf damage does fall off as the game goes on quite a bit because you don't really build any offensive stats on him in the jungle, and especially like he doesn't quite synergize as well with some of those items as other champions.
yeah. Um,
Um,
However, Renji was having some in the late game fights, a few positioning errors on the lower range champion that his Victor was game two. So we'll see if he does fall prey to some of the same. Although putting out a lot of damage, we'll see how he pilots his gangplank and we'll see if he's comfortable enough on it. Because although gangplank mid does occasionally show up, it's not very meta right now.
yep. So, uh, in any case, we are finally into the game for game number 3 between APCH and SNEK. Uh, I mean, I've said it a lot, but there's
Yeah.
not a whole lot to say else. But this is the game that determines who will go on to semifinals. Who their semifinals opponent will be determined by the results of OU Wadu Heck. which also happened earlier tonight, which we'll be streaming on Sunday.
Boomer.
uh, Goodness. Yeah, and not to mention though, low range means Soul Shackles is a very big potent threat from Echoed Voices Morgana.
That's true. That's
this
true.
This is not a support Morgana. This is a mid lane Morgana. The Soul Shackles hurt a lot.
That's true.
So yeah, somewhat concerning. Granted, Renji does have the remove scurvy on Gangplank, and here we see it yet again. The signature SNEK level 1 invade. They do this basically every game. It was an oddity they didn't do it in game number 1.
I will say, however, that although Remove Scurvy will be very strong about getting out of the binding if he is hit by the Morgana, that is not how Echoed Voice should be playing this lane. He should not be playing it to try and get kills and to try and get picks, but instead should be using his what should be superior wave clear in range to push the wave and try and get damage onto the tower.
The chip damage onto tower
Yes.
will slowly whittle it down with your pressure. However, without that lack of kill pressure that Echoed Voice has in the mid lane, it's allowing the Gangplank to scale, which is something you never want to do.
True.
Gangplank damage is absolutely ridiculous as the game goes on, and in particular in the late game, you see the montages all the time where he just barrels and like 2 squishies die from 70%, 80% HP.
However, he does need some time to set those up because of the 3 ticks on it. You have to get the final hit, and so if he's able to get, if it does take too long and Tarek can get his ultimate off, that'll be negating a lot of Gangplank's damage. Okay.
Yeah, and so Renji has opted for the Kleptomancy, so didn't opt for that Grasp of the Undying that you were talking about.
Which is probably stronger in the mid lane because it's not too much of a tank scaling battle.
Yeah.
But we'll have to see how it goes.
So Jack is again asserting some dominance as Darius up against Cho'Gath.
Kai'Sa has decided to go for the Doran Shield, which should hopefully take care of a lot of the range disadvantage that we were talking about earlier. Yeah, as you can see, Caitlyn just landing auto after auto, getting some of that damage, but allowing the regen passive.
And, talking about ADCs in this league, if General Vici is ADC that has superior positioning in this league, Karamat is the ADC that really abuses laning phase in this league. He is Karamat, compared to any other ADC that I observe, at least in the games that I watch, does find those free autos that he needs to, as best he can.
And on a champion like Caitlyn, that's pretty easy though.
Yeah.
So he should be abusing that range advantage.
However, yeah, Karamat and PB Doughboy in general are the bottom lane that likes to go very aggressive, likes to 2v2. They did get very heavily outplayed in game number 1 with the, was it game? No, it was game number 2. Game number 2, they got very heavily outplayed in the 2v2.
With the Xayah and the Alistar. However, Thresh is not nearly as assured in Gage because it's not a point and click ability like the headbutt is.
However,
yeah.
With Himana's performance in game number 1, it might as well.
Which was stellar on this Thresh.
Yeah.
So if he is able to keep landing those hooks, then potentially this could be a very different lane than if he's not.
Jack continues just walking forward aggressively, trying to put some damage on the snap. There's a Decimate coming through. That's not actually, he actually hit him with the handle there, just barely in. Gonna watch top lane farm for a little bit.
Yeah.
Nothing else is happening.
Yeah, this game is definitely not nearly as action-packed as last game was. If we remember early, Sci-Fi.
Generally the trend.
Good apprehend.
A lot of damage down on the Snappy, the bleed taking away 20% of that converted to true. Well, actually, I don't think has he procced Conqueror, or did he?
Yes, I believe he did. Yeah.
Okay. I can't tell which one is like, oh, you have Conqueror primed, and oh, you procced Conqueror.
So
Okay,
the
so
way
the orange fists is when you have it primed, but
Primed.
have not procced it.
and then once you see the big logo and the kind of flash of light, that's when you'll know that it has been procced.
Okay, so both junglers have opted for the Predator enchant, Keystone Mastery. Dazzle gonna come through, doesn't quite find either member. Death Sentence as well going wide.
And Predator, as you were saying, is kind of just a really good pick on both of these champions because they are traditionally seen as the
run
at you champion. And, you know, Olaf wants to be right on your face. Gardner wants to be right in your face. That's...
But that makes the Morgana pick even stronger, in my opinion. He's
to deny the Skarner Impale.
Not only to deny the Skarner Impale, but as he has to take the direct path towards your team. Otherwise, he won't catch you the majority of the time.
Yeah.
That's a very easy Dark Binding to set up.
Yeah, or enable to put on the Black Shield. Oh, here we go.
Throws the undertow.
Yeah, procs the Predator, just kind of to tell you, hey, I'm here. Back off. This is SNEK spot lane.
Oh, and Aikado, he finds Jack, but the Rupture was already used, but that's a level 6 use. The Cannon Barrage used to slow him up, and that will force Jack's flash. No Impale for Aikado just yet.
There's that global presence from Gangplank.
Look at what Jack is. Jack has actually gotten more and more defensive as these games go on. No phage this time, straight into the Spectre's Cal. Now gonna pull in Aikado, stunning him up. Lappy does have that level 6 compared to Jack only level 5 though. So
I will say though, this is the build that he went for game 2. Phage was built after Mercury Treads and
really? Okay.
Spectre's Cal.
I thought he went phage into a Spectre's Cal.
No.
Okay.
Because he was kind of bullied a little bit early, and it's looking like they're going to try and do a lot of focus top 2, which is one of the reasons.
My mistake.
Well, it's one of the reasons that the CS lead isn't as drastic as maybe it could be or should be.
Yeah.
But he is sitting at right now what should turn into a 12 CS lead.
Assuming he doesn't miss these. He shouldn't miss them. They're not even in tower aggro, but...
If he does, we'll judge him silently. And he got it. He's good.
Good job.
Good job.
So 12 CS lead for Jack over Slappy, but he did burn that flash thanks to the Cannon Barrage and the gank from Aikado. So he does not have that to secure a kill on the Slappy, nor to escape a gank should Aikado opt to come up there.
Yeah, just kind of farming across the map. I will say that despite Karamat having longer range on this Caitlyn, Kai'Sa does scale very well.
Yeah, does a lot of damage.
What with the damage from her Q, and then also the invisibility and the speed that it allows to reposition on her E, you know, and the increasing damage coming out of her passive, will do a lot of damage as time goes on.
Jack now shoving in onto Slappy. Gonna be able to pick up that wave, piece onto the cannon. Should not have a problem there. The apprehend comes through. It's just gonna be a little bit more damage.
And as you can see, as the
Sci-Fi invading onto Aikado, he's gonna have the support of Echoed Voice, and actually pops the Ragnarok going in onto him. It's gonna expire here fairly soon, and that will be the signal for him to impale. Renji coming around looking for the barrel combo, but Sci-Fi, he's just gonna solo him out, and that's a repeat of what happened in game number 1. Sci-Fi flashes away with the help of the Black Shield from Echoed Voice.
Not sure if the flash was totally necessary there. Good stun.
Builds over Peacemaker, comes out to punish Himana.
Not sure if the flash was totally necessary there because they did have the Black Shield from the Morgana, but either way, better safe than sorry. Did get a very clean first blood.
That's a Death Sentence binds onto Karamat, plays him back out. Cosmic Radiant's gonna come out. He's ignited. He's not gonna die yet, but General Vici does have his ultimate, but he doesn't have a Void Stack onto Karamat.
Yeah, so he was able, with the help of the W, able to get 2 more procs of his passive onto Karamat, and then with the Flay and the Death Sentence from Himana only took 1 auto to proc the passive, getting a lot of damage, almost taking down Karamat, but the Cosmic Radius kept him safe after the Ignite.
So That was Himana's Ignite burn for both the exhaust and the heal from Karamat and Dobo, but crucially, they both still have flash available.
And because of how low the range on Kai'Sa's ult is level 1, even if there had been a passive stack, a plasma stack on top of Caitlyn, probably would not have really been able to follow at the range that she was by the time they disengaged.
Sci-Fi handing off the blue buff over to Echoed Voice.
Once again, good guy jungler. Looking to just gain a little bit of dominance now that he's got in the bot lane they have Berserker's Greaves and BF Sword as opposed to
SNEK starting up the Ocean Drakes. Kato on the wrong side of the map. Cannon Barrage is available should they want to try and contest this. It's secured that the Death Sentence isn't going to find Sci-Fi, but just able to walk it out. No real threat of them going for an engage really, unless they really wanted to go for the Cannon Barrage there.
Okay, so walk me through this one.
Oh, Dark Passage, hold on a second because there's a flash in. They get Aikato in. General Vici follows with his ultimate. Karamat flashes away. Here comes Sci-Fi and both teleports from SNEK, but it will be another one matched by Slappy here. Soul Shackle is going to be broken by the side of Apache. Jack cancels his.
Okay,
and
so
they will disengage.
Good kill on the side of Apache. Probably not the most beneficial flash there from Karamat. But as I was saying, it looks like this Kai'Sa is just who has 15 CS up at the end of laning phase. Looks like is building into Death's Dance.
Yeah, speaking of which, Cosmic Radiance not quite off of cooldown, so they didn't have it when Karamat went down. And you're right, really strange flash on the side of Karamat.
But kind of talking about that Death's Dance, I'm a little surprised because it's kind of as things have settled out.
Yeah,
it seems that the best build on Kai'Sa right now is kind of the similar to Xayah Essence Reaver into.
So that is the most common build and the one we see a lot of competitive play. But there is a very strange solo queue build going around nowadays where you go Death's Dance and you get like Asher's Tooth. That sense. Oh, it finds Karamat! General Vici comes around. Dazzle misses. Karamat trying to get away. General Vici does not have his ultimate. Himana coming forward. Teleport coming in from Renji. He's got the barrels set up and ready. They lantern in Aikato. They don't find a slow, but there it is. PB Boy is the one who will pay the price for Karamat.
Yeah, and at 108 CS, 2 kills, General Vici is looking like he might be able to carry this game.
Apache now they're looking at Tower First Blood into the bottom lane. Nobody on SNEK there to really defend it, but if you look, SNEK is trying to get the one in the mid lane, and they are going to get it first. Renji coming around will get a barrel on Echoed Voice, but it's not going to be enough to dissuade them from the tower. Apache out of minions. SNEK will pick up Tower First Blood.
So despite some good plays around the bot lane, good rotation coming in from SNEK, making sure they get that first blood gold, or that first turret gold.
So Apache will pick up a tower to even it up, and they will propel themselves into a gold lead, just 600 in their favor. 30 CS lead for Jack, mirrored on the side of General Vici over Karamat. He's relatively even for Echoed Voice and Renji, however.
So he has completed the Death Dance, and he has built two
daggers.
Daggers could potentially go into
the Nashor's
Stinger into Nashor's too.
And that is like when I see the Death Dance burst item, that is what I expect to see. I don't know exactly what makes this build good, and in my head it shouldn't work, but maybe the numbers just work out for Kai'Sa.
It seems like he could be trying to get all 3 evolutions. So most
Kai'Sa is going to find onto Sci-Fi, pops the Ragnarok, and he's actually just going deep on a General Vici, but now Jack is caught. Cannon Barrage was used, and now Jack has to get out of there, flashes away. The Predator popped by Aikato, and he has no flash. He's going to get impaled. General Vici follows him, and he will get taken down. General Vici's on a killing spree.
Yeah, very well played there. Kind of mispositioned from the top side of the map from SNEK, and punished very well by Apache.
So now Apache with 3 members up in the top lane, Aikato soloing out the Red Herald with the enemy jungler down. SNEK, they're trying to defend this one, but Death Sentence is going to be absorbed by PB Doughboy. Will they follow? Dazzle will not find him thanks to the Flay from Himana, and PB Doughboy takes about half of his health and damage.
Yeah, unable to pop the passive there from Kai'Sa, unfortunately, but They do stop the turret from going down. However, should just be a free Rift Herald here on the side of Apache.
So Himana gonna find echoed voice. Things will even out. SNEK actually, both teams have lane swapped into the top lane. Their duo lane. Slappy and Jack going into the bottom lane to match one another.
Now, I could see kind of the rationale behind...
General Vici could... No, he doesn't have his ultimate. I lied. That sense gonna be dodged by Karamat as Apache moving. Just take some vision. General Vici will Dark Passage out.
Before level 11, the cooldown on Kai'Sa's ultimate is fairly long. But kind of going back to the rationale behind this build, I could see because they have an AD mid laner. So by building a bit of AP, looking to potentially get that damage on the passive pop and the W.
What is the ratio on AP with her passive?
I believe it's the way that her passive works.
Oh, Karamat gets caught by a death sentence, but Apache, they don't go for it.
Yeah. So the way that her passive works, it's when you pop the 5th stack of plasma, it's a certain 15 to 18% missing health damage amplified by plus 3.5% every 100 AP.
Ah, okay. Okay, so you do get a reasonable amount of extra missing health damage on the passive.
Well, and then also on the Q.
Oh, Sci-Fi pops the Ragnarok, not the Ragnarok, the Predator, and Renji pops his ultimate and his flash to get out.
Yeah.
Oh, Apprehend finds Slappy. Jack is gonna just continue to trade onto him. Dazzle finds Himana under tower, and actually he's the one who has to flash away.
But yeah, kind of like we were talking about. Also, the Q and W on Kai'Sa's kit have very large AP ratios, with 65% of AP on her Q being converted into some of that damage. Does not do magic damage though. Still only does physical damage, but uses that AP ratio.
So, I'm not sure what to say. Not a whole lot is going on here. We do know Apache have, or Slappy says, Cho'Gath is the easiest top laner to blind pick in the meta right now. And yes, Jack has picked Darius against it every time. But that's sort of, like, with the release of Conqueror, that's sort of the nature of top lane. Basically, there is a counter pick to everything. Cho'Gath is the one that doesn't suffer as much against his given counter pick.
I would say a lot of that just comes because Cho'Gath is a tank and builds a lot of health instead of just armor. Yep. So the true damage is not quite as substantial as against, say, if you were building a Maokai.
We'll get a beast stack for it. And yeah, I mean, honestly, this probably is the best use of his time, considering he can't really stay in lane for too long against Jackalo's lane.
Good Dark Binding,
but will be removed by the remove Scurvy. Ocean Drake secured by Apache. Jack will just shove this lane into the tower. Actually going to get a lot of tower damage off because Slappy did not head directly down here after getting the Ocean Drake.
Yeah,
SNEK threatening with 3 on the top side. Well,
they do have a lot of pressure across the map right now. You know, just because of the Caitlyn wave clear and the undertows being thrown out by Sci-Fi. But Kai'Sa with her Q will be able to do a fair amount of wave clear herself.
Rift Herald summoned, I think that was just because it was about to time out. Okay, so that will be summoned in the top lane. Unfortunately for SNEK, their bot lane did just take a recall from the top lane, so really nothing to put damage on this Rift Herald, and actually Apache will very likely get a tower for free off of that.
They have rotated Echo Voice top.
Oh, and actually here's a teleport from Jack as well. They will force Apache away from defending their Rift Herald, and they will be able to take it down without the tower going down immediately. But that was Jack's teleport invested for that. Slappy now has teleport advantage as well as being in the better lane for him right now, but they're going to use the numbers advantage in any case to shove down this top lane.
They do still have the teleport on Morgana if they feel the need to rotate her either to the mid lane or the bot lane and want to let Morgana rejoin the fight. But as of now, it looks like they're just going to keep pushing their advantages in the bot lane. Maybe look for the tier 2.
All right, so it's not Nashor's Tooth, it's Gwinsu's. And
Okay.
Mirage used to clear out the wave. Okay, so this is not the build I was talking about. Good Black Shield will absorb the death sentence.
Should, however, give him enough AD, because if I'm correct, I think Death Stance gives 80 AD.
I think that's right. Find out here, Rupture. Gonna find Karamat, but Dazzle will cover his. It gives 80.
Yeah.
You're correct.
So with the 25 AD on...
Actually, Predator Pop, they apprehend in Slappy, he flashes away. Cosmic Radiance and the Ragnarok Jackalope's Lamp flashes in onto
Good
Slappy.
slow.
The Dark Binding will not land. There's the Bleed Stacks Redemption coming out. Noxie Guillotine will deny him the heal. A Dazzle finds Icado. Jack is going to get in, pulls him back in, and there's going to be another kill. Oh no! He flashes over the side. The Bleed Stacks are ticking. They Blast Cone over. And Apache will survive. Oh, there's a Death Sentence. It finds Karamat, but the Flay will not. Ignite goes down onto him, and Himana is forced away. Dark Binding covering General Vici on his way in.
General Vici has a lot more self-control than I would, because if I saw that pop, I would have hit my ultimate right there and tried to kill.
And Ikado's going to look for the execute, and it looks like he will get it.
Yeah.
Oh, Echoed Voice now going to pop the stopwatch, but it is going to be a
Good
Whoa,
flash.
good flash, but
Whoa.
General Vici will follow, and he will pick up the Rampage on the ADC of Apache.
As you can see, though, she has evolved her Q, which is giving her a lot of isolated damage if she can get all of those Q missiles onto one enemy.
Yeah, and Apache will even up tower goal or a tower count by picking up that tower in the mid lane. SNEK a little bit scattered on their way out of the jungle. Echoed Voice left to his lonesome while the rest of them chase and ultimately fail to pick up a kill onto Icado.
And despite there being 3 kill difference, there's only about a 1,500 gold discrepancy on the side of Apache. So nothing too drastic.
Oh, Righteous Glory pod, PB Doughboy trying to get out of there. Dazzle will stop him, and PB Doughboy just going to take a Void Seeker on his way out. Nicely done by the support of SNEK.
Yeah. Just kind of using the wave clear from this Kai'Sa right here to try and get some priority in the mid lane before backing and spending a lot of the gold that they
And you know, Taric also pretty good against the run at you champions. You know?
Yeah.
It's very easy to aim the Dazzle as long as you're not like randomly moving to the side to juke yourself.
Well, and it takes time for them to get on top of you. So, you know, with the 3-second channel from, or the 3-second cast time on Cosmic Radiance, good counter to that.
Yeah. Although that does also go both ways. If you're running at them and you see the Cosmic Radiance popped early, it's very easy for you to say, all right, I don't want to run in anymore,
Yeah.
and then run in again once that ultimate is down. Jack is trading onto Slappy. We've seen this very, very slow fight before, and it gets very down to the wire. Jack does have his ultimate up.
I think we'll just kind of have to see in terms of the Cosmic Radiance, are they using it aggressively or are they being forced to use it defensively? Because on a composition such as this Olaf composition, it can be a very potent tool aggressive, and if you
We
don't
saw
have
it in that last fight.
exactly, forcing Icado to have to flash over the wall, and they barely nearly got 2 kills for none.
What ought to have been 2 kills for none ends up being a 1-for-1 as Echoed Voice does go down separated from his team.
Now they have invested their jungler in the bot lane, and it's looking like they're pinging around the Baron. Most likely not going to try and follow that up. Just get some vision and some dominance around the Baron pit.
Do you see the Gwinsu's Rage Blade is finished for General Vici? He's going to be doing a lot of damage. Additionally, or sorry, not additionally to that, but like another thing of consideration is the Cosmic Radiance does empower Echoed Voice to be even more aggressive with the Soul Shackles before the Zhonya's is completed. Dark Binding going wide there. Karamat gonna take a tower shot to the face as the tower goes down in the top lane in favor of Apache thanks to the split push from Renji.
Yeah, doing very well in a situation which was, you know, you have to say unfortunate due to what happened in Champion Select. They're using this gangplank relatively well.
Yeah. So Apache looking to posture around that Baron yet again. Renji is forcing down that top lane. Echoed Voice will be sent to clear it. control of the Baron area firmly in Apache's hands. They will clear out some vision and set up potentially a bait here. PB Doughboy coming around. We've seen this one before. Looks like SNEK are playing it a little bit more carefully, but Karamat cannot walk in that area.
Looks like a red ward has been...
Nope, that's a barrel.
Oh, a barrel.
Barrels don't give vision to the enemy team,
Okay.
thankfully.
Yeah, it's just the color was confusing. That red.
Yeah, yeah. That's because Gangplank attack it.
Yeah.
Like a red unit.
Exactly. So yeah, just kind of stuck in this Baron dance.
Looks like Slappy is trying to solo out the Cloud Drake, but SNEK, they're already on the rotation in. Jack is going to be the one who gets there first. Actually, I lied. Sci-Fi was already there. Said that.
I do wonder about their decision to keep putting Jack in the mid lane when he has teleport up, and maybe should be better invested trying to split push in the bot lane.
So they will force Slappy away. They actually force the rest of Apache away from the mid lane as well. So now it is SNEK's Mountain Drake to take. Mountain Drake, like we said, is very important because these teams like to fight around Baron.
Yeah,
Baron makes it go a lot faster.
Apprehend
him into the dazzle. Redemption being popped, he flashes away, and it will be the cannon barrage used to dissuade SNEK from chasing the top laner of Apache.
And it looks like he was out though, so I'm wondering if that might have been a misused resource right there because he had already flashed and they had kind of pulled off from the chase.
Yeah, might have been just a lack of communication on the side of Apache.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, just kind of put around this Baron dance, and in a game that is so dedicated to, to positioning around this Baron, Mountain Drake's going to be really helpful, kind of like you were saying.
Yeah. 2 towers to 3 still, as it's been for quite a while. Aikido picks up his own blue buff, and SNEK are down 2.3k gold.
Yeah, and I think this is kind of just from the farm discrepancies in the mid lane. Specifically 60 gold in the mid lane.
60 CS. Yeah.
60 CS in the mid lane.
A little bit more than 60 gold.
Yeah, a little bit more, despite there only being a 40 CS advantage to Jack Loveland in the top lane. And also a slight, very, very slight CS advantage in the bot lane. But speaking of the bot lane, look at what Kaisa has picked up third item.
Ah, okay, so it is going to be the Nashers too.
Yeah, so going into Stinger, getting a little bit of that AP, will be... I think looking to pick up all 3 evolves, which is a kind of debated strategy amongst people who play Kaisa. Some people think it's really strong in order to get, the additional power on the W, whereas others think that it's better.
Aside from getting the empowered W, you also are getting that AP ratio on your passive and your other abilities. So
exactly.
It does increase your burst by a bit. Additionally, with the fact that it stacks on your passive, over the course of a very long team fight where you're auto-attacking a tank and getting multiple passive procs,
yeah.
It could potentially be good damage.
Yeah.
I don't know the numbers well enough to say.
Yeah, it does do, a fair amount of increase with each 100 AP that you get.
SNEK are coming around. They have the inside track here, and Sci-Fi will force Apache out there. The traps will be laid down, but the cannon barrage will clear out the way.
Very well done there.
He gets onto Karamat, but the black shield comes out. Aikido caught by a trap, forces the flash away. Redemption used onto the invulnerable Sci-Fi, but that is Cosmic Radiance burned. Aikido flashes out. Karamat dodging away. He will take a barrel to the face. That's half of his HP.
That's a lot of damage. He's got his complete Trinity Force.
Oh, that was the Void Seeker landing onto Karamat.
Yeah. Despite how strong General Vici is right now, I'm not sure you want to go in 1v4.
Maybe not. Maybe. It depends how much of a man are you. Karamat needs to avoid getting hit by this damage and the CC from the Death Sentence and from Renji because, if last game is anything to go by, he is a very important source of damage for the side of SNEK.
Yeah, the Morgana does do, if it's in a fight which is kind of staying in one area, the Tormented Soil does very good, especially if it's hitting multiple people because it refreshes the cooldown, and will be giving her the heals.
But
Yeah, good attempt though. But if it's in these kind of mobile fights that have been moving a lot as this series has kind of shown, Tormented Soil isn't the
The best for sustained damage.
best exactly.
SNEK is really hoping to lock up multiple people with the Soul Shackles. That is going to be a very important point of this game. Anyone who doesn't get locked up by the Soul Shackles, Sci-Fi is going to have to chase away with the completely
Untouchable.
uninteractable Olaf with
Olaf.
Ragnarok and Cosmic Radiance.
Exactly.
I am rather a big fan of the fact that PB Doughboy has early rushed this Locket of the Iron Solari. It does just stall that much more for the Cosmic Radiance to land.
Well, and it's so helpful against the AoE damage of this gameplay.
I am surprised he did. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm not surprised. I'm just like noting he has not opted to go for the Tear of the Goddess.
Ooh.
Meanwhile, Renji's gonna get slowed up. Cannon Barrage cannot slow up Sci-Fi, and they will actually abandon that chase.
Because of the speed given from Yomu's Ghost Blade, they weren't really able to catch him.
Additionally, you get like that move speed boost every time you blow up a barrel.
So, well done there from Renji, able to get out of that with only the Ragnarok really invested from SNEK, so not over chasing and not investing too much.
But with all of the pushing Renji has been doing inside this,
Oh!
How did it find onto Karamat? Those Cosmic Radiance will not be fast enough, and Karamat will go down. This is that laser-focused death sentences we saw from game number 1 from Himana.
One of the reasons they were able to keep pushing their advantages is because
Echo Voice
Himana
just
was...
denied 3 barrels in a row.
Another one!
Make it 4, but with Karamat down, that big source of damage for SNEK.
And doing the isolated damage, they
But Jack is caught! Jack is out of position, flashes over the side. Slappy gonna find a rupture, and the death sentence bound! Himana is gonna carry his team to victory.
This is just one of the reasons that they were, like we were saying, able to just push the tempo of game 1. But as we can see, because because Rageblade is fully stacked, getting double procs on the Kaisa passive doing so much damage.
And Apache will pick up a Baron at 32 minutes. Sci-Fi soloing out a Dragon for the side of SNEK, but compared to that Baron going over, the double Mountain Drake, what are you going to take with that, with the Baron off the table?
This is look eerily similar to the beginnings of game 1 and 2, so we'll have to see if SNEK can make the comeback of game 2 or if they're going to kind of roll over like they did in game 1.
Good Voice doing his best, but Tormented Soul cannot compare to Ice Denial. But unfortunately, this inhibitor tower is going down for sure.
They did not lose the inhibitor itself, which means they were able to stem a little bit of that bleeding, but that's pushed into a 7,000 gold lead.
And like what I was going to say is Renji, with all of that split pushing, not only does he have that gigantic CS lead over Echoed Voice, but he's also level 17. The highest in the game by 2 to the next 2, which are Slappy and Jacqueline's.
And they're still only 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what you said. Sorry. Got distracted. But yeah. Really strong, doing the best they can with this Gangplank.
So
very effective.
SNEK just doing their best to push the waves away so that they can not get baroned up. Jack gonna just put a little bit of damage onto Aikado.
And we're at that point where Caitlyn really started to take over the game last game, is about to, looks like, most likely get close to the Last Whisper.
Yes, but again, I very much question Karamat's choice not to pick up the Last Whisper before a second Zeal item, considering Slappy is just stacking straight armor.
Yeah, not going so much for HP. You know, we see a lot of Cho'Gath kind of go Warmogs. This Cho'Gath is going for specifically Branduin's. That's crit. Another one.
The Ragnarok was popped to avoid getting CC'd down.
So that's one tool that they don't have. The untouchable Olaf is not as untouchable anymore.
Can be CC'd through the Cosmic Radiance. There's another Void Seeker finds onto Karamat Rupture. Apache are just protecting their investments there with the Banner of Command Baron knocking away slowly but surely at that inhibitor tower.
Doing, you know, a fair amount of damage with each hit. Should fall. Yeah.
Ooh, close. Seeker finds sci-fi. General Vici not quite gonna go in deep for this.
But as you can see, the lack of Last Whisper is really hurting Karamat.
Sure
Does almost no damage to.
And again, why did you not go for that Last Whisper? Oh, Death Sense is gonna find sci-fi. He has no Ragnarok Rupture. Flashed away from Cosmic Radiance. Used Dazzle. Finds Slappy, but they don't do any damage. The Stoneplate Pop Redemption tops him off. And it will be a lot invested by SNEK, and that means that APCH can no. Oh no! Blood Death Sense finds Echo Voice. Flash Feast comes in. General Vici comes in on a trap exhaust, and they lose Karamat. This might be it. A very, very quick game for APCH. They lose 2 members of SNEK, and they're looking for the end of the game.
They do still have the top laner, the jungler, and the mid laner, but it was
Go
caught.
Again, Himana plays him back in. Silence comes down. Jackalo's there. Shut down Himana. 3-man apprehend. Dark Binding finds onto his Slappy. There's Jack.
He's not dying!
He won't die! The heals come out. He finally does go down to Renji. Has he stalled long enough? Echoed Voice is able to come back, and it will be APCH backing out of the base.
Such a good defense there from Jack Loves Lamp. Just not dying, refusing to die, and doing so much damage in the meantime, is able to stall, and SNEK still has a fighting chance.
SNEK are, however, in a situation they have not yet come back from. One Nexus Tower is not on the board for them. And we criticize TSM for these things. Might have to start criticizing SNEK for this. Oh man, they let him have Thresh again.
Yeah. Should TSM have banned Thresh? Most likely. Should SNEK have banned Thresh?
Maybe.
Maybe.
I mean, the bans that they did throw were pretty important. Denying away Zerath, Bolt Vel'Koz, and that blind pick Swain. However, they didn't pick the Thresh until later in the draft. They had the opportunity. Am I remembering wrong? Because they picked Skarner, Gangplank.
Yeah, because they banned 2 support second. They banned
you're right,
Rom and Alistar.
I'm lying. They didn't have another opportunity to ban the Thresh.
Yeah. Well, they could have banned the Thresh over the Braum or the Alistar.
No,
right?
Wait, did they? Is that no?
No, yeah, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, so the Thresh was gonna go through with those 3 bans anyway.
Yeah.
But they're really not playing very well against it. Predator is popped. They're gonna look for a chase onto Renji. There's the Cannon Barrage used to cut off the rest of SNEK, but here they come. He's slowed up by the Righteous Glory. Dazzle gonna come. No!
Oh!
Apprehend from Jack. They're gonna take down Renji no matter what. Serax gains. Whoa! He's gonna live. The bleed.
Maybe.
One more tick. It's enough. But APCH
losing
with
their base.
4 members pushing in the bottom lane. APCH are going to push down the bottom lane. It's SNEK too slow on the response.
Very, very good punish there. They sent their entire team up top, and APCH decided, okay, well, you send your entire team up top to kill our split pusher. We'll take your base. So very good punish there. Very good communication.
Oh, a Death Sense from Fog of 4. Rupture finds Jack. And Jack gonna get the Cosmic Radiance, gets a big heal. Apprehend falls in 3. There's a lot of invulnerability, but no damage. Slappy is just tanking them all up. They feast onto Jack. Summoner Heal comes out, and they get onto Icado, but the Rupture comes through. Do they have enough damage to lock it? Sci-Fi is going to finally go down. Impale was used. Icado is gonna be the next to fall from Noxian Guillotine, but they do no damage, and Karamat's already down. There's the Void Seeker. They will take down Jack Loves Lamp. Finally a double kill over to General Vici, and PB Doughboy will be the final to fall. Echoed Voice just running away.
They're pinging towards the Nexus. It looks like they're going to try and end. As they have Gangplank running towards.
Yeah, Renji cutting off Echoed Voice. Echoed Voice just going to have to run away. General Vici just dissuaded.
Trying to clear out some of those minions, but I don't think it's going to help.
It's not going to matter. There's a big super minion wave. APCH with 4 members dead on SNEK. They will take game number 3, and they will be the ones going on to semifinals.
Very good game here coming out of APCH, just using the best of a worst situation and split basically just having more pressure. Echoed Voice on this Morgana was not able to keep up with the Gangplank in the split push. So very good out of Renji and all of Apache.
Yeah, Apache, General Vici really just destroying this game. Karama and PB Doughboy just did not respond very well to the Gangster Mikado, just constantly coming out with the help of Himana's Dark Passage. And they're, I mean, that's not a whole lot to say. Apache played a very clean game number 3. Were able to take the victory, not give up the lead that they had such a big one in game number 2. And now, so Apache will be going on to the semifinals. They will match up against either Sky Zero or Reign of Kings, depending on who won the series between OU and Wadu. Heck, you'll find out on Sunday.
Sunday.
We will be streaming that one. At the end of the day, I mean at the end of the day, that's
Yeah.
it. That's it. I mean, not a whole lot else to say. Thank you all so much for watching. We very much enjoyed casting these 3 games. It was a great series all around. I'm Alex HNA22, Riley Seegers, Funky Mama Seegers coming into cast with me today. Thank you all for watching, and see you on Sunday.